Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. A boy wakes up with no name, no memories, and his level reset to 1. The Emperor names him a prince, and that's when everyone realizes something terrifying. The more people who serve him, the stronger he becomes. His power has no cap, his growth has no limit, and by the time his enemies understand what that means, it's already too late. This is the story of Noah, the prince who turns loyalty into raw power. The story begins as a guy wakes up and wonders where he is. A woman is standing over him, and he wonders if it's his mother. He realizes that she can't be because she doesn't look like his mother at all, and he notices that he can barely move. Things only get more mysterious as he notices that there's a floating screen in front of him. There are several attributes all over the screen, so he wonders if these are supposed to represent his stats. This realization is very disappointing to him because he notices that his level has gone all the way back down to 1. What's even more strange is that he doesn't have a name. Just then, a man that the woman calls Her Majesty appears, so the boy wonders if this guy is some kind of emperor. The emperor declares that this boy will be named Noah, and he shall hold the title of 13th Imperial Prince. The emperor is told that Noah has an affinity for water magic, so he decides that Noah will rule over the land called Almeria. This domain will be perfectly suited for him because it's the land where the Water Clan resides. Noah notices that things are changing on his screen, but he doesn't know what it means because he has never seen values like these before. The emperor wants to see Noah's skills, so the priest reveals them. Everyone in the entire room is then shocked by what his status screen shows. Noah doesn't understand what any of it means, but he does notice that the values next to his water attribute have changed. Everyone in the room continues to gasp in amazement because Noah has a double S rank water attribute. Even Noah's mother's in disbelief because this stat is so much higher than when he was born just a while ago. The priest is at a complete loss for words as he wonders if this means that Noah has already awakened. Reaching double S rank is incredibly rare in general and is completely unheard of for someone to reach it at such a young age. All the spectators marvel at Noah because they realize that they are witnessing the birth of a man with immense talent. Noah is still really confused, and he doesn't know what to make of all of this. All he knows for sure is that he has been granted a new life, and he was reincarnated as a noble. Noah's new home is the Mira's Empire, which is a nation of warriors nestled inside of a mountain range. The emperor is the father to over 10 sons, known as the Imperial Princes. The princes are revered and adored by the people as the most renowned of nobles. It has been 6 years now since Noah was reincarnated, and he has come to realize something about his stats. The values he sees on his status screen are different from what others can see. They see normal ranks like everyone has, but Noah is able to see different values. Instead of the double S rank that everyone else sees for his water attribute, Noah sees E+S. What he has learned is that these additional values come from the people that are his subordinates. For example, the S added to his water attribute came from the domain he was granted at birth. The emperor gave Noah the domain called Almeria, which made all the residents there his subordinates. Almeria is where the Water Clan resides, so having them as his subordinates gave Noah a huge boost to his water attribute. Even his maids give a small boost to his attributes, making it clear that he will benefit from any subordinate, no matter how weak they are. In other words, Noah can grow stronger by gaining more subordinates. Another thing he can see that others can't is that his level can be raised infinitely. As the maids get Noah ready for his day, they can't help but point out how well behaved he is. Most boys his age would be full of mischief, but Noah's always so calm and well composed. Noah has learned a lot about how his status screen works, but his capabilities are still limited because he's only 6 years old. Just then, a maid named Evelyn informs Noah that 2 visitors have arrived. Noah explains to us that Evelyn's a beautiful maid and she specializes in hospitality. Evelyn informs Noah that 2 of his brothers have come to visit, and they said that Noah can take his time before meeting with them. Noah knows that he can't keep them waiting though, because one of his brothers is the crown prince. Noah goes to meet with them immediately, and he's greeted by his brothers. One of them is named Henry, and he is the 4th prince. The other is Albert, and he's the crown prince. Noah apologizes for being late, and the brothers can't help but notice that he's as courteous as ever. Noah is always very polite, so the brothers are sure that he will be a fine chancellor one day. Just then, Albert reveals that they have brought a present for Noah. Albert has someone bring it in, but it's not something pleasant. It looks like a coffin covered in some kind of dark force, and the guy carrying it looks terrified. The guy's even sweating from fear, so Noah can only wonder what's going on. Albert tells the guy to open the box, and Noah's horrified for a moment. He hears people screaming in agony, and he sees them begging for Prince Albert to save them. This is only a vision Albert is having, because the only thing inside the case is a sword. Albert wonders what Noah thinks about it, and Noah says that it's incredible. Albert tells his little brother to pick it up, but Noah is hesitant. Something isn't right about this sword, but it's a gift from the crown prince, so he can't refuse. Noah picks the sword up, and Albert is very impressed. He explains that the sword is called the Leviathan, and it's a water magic sword, known as the strongest in the Empire. It's not for the faint of heart though, because over 120 people have lost their lives trying to master it. Noah is shocked to hear this, and he panics as he almost drops the gift from the crown prince. Henry can tell that Noah is scared, so he tells him not to worry. Those that are not meant to wield the sword lose their lives the moment they lift it. This sword is so cursed that for most people, even just carrying the box it's in is agonizing. Albert is glad that he brought this gift for Noah because it showed him that someone with water affinity at a double S rank level is what it takes to wield the sword. He then thanks Noah because this was a very valuable demonstration. The two brothers leave, and Noah calls Albert a despicable prince because he was just testing him. Noah doesn't dare say it out loud though, because he knows that if he did, he would lose his life. Outside, Henry wonders if it was a good idea to give Noah the Leviathan. The sword is priceless, but Albert doesn't regret his decision. He's really glad because he thinks that the sword is better off in the hands of someone as brilliant as Noah. However, he says that it's because of Noah's brilliance that he needs to experience being bitten by his own precious pet. That night, Noah can tell that something is bothering his maid named Zoe. Zoe says that it's nothing, but Noah insists that she tell him. She's Noah's personal maid, and she reveals that she would like to request some time off. There was a flood in her hometown, and the farm she grew up in was completely washed out. Now her mother, who lives alone, is out of work, and she needs help. Zoe's other relatives won't do anything, and they have told Zoe to just go work in the red light district. They told her that she's worthless, but even she could sell herself as someone who served the prince. Noah interrupts her as he has heard enough, and he has a different idea. Instead of Zoe selling herself, he will employ her mother in the mansion. She will simply be in charge of locking the front gate, and he will pay her 10 reen every month. This is incredibly generous, but Zoe points out that she's never heard of such a job. He's also going to be paying her way more than the standard wage, but Noah already knows. His generosity isn't done though, as he explains that there is an unused house in the outskirts of the capital. He says that Zoe and her mother can live there, so Zoe begins to cry because of his great kindness. Zoe thanks him over and over again, but Noah stays professional, and he tells her to continue her work. Meanwhile, he thinks about how he could never let someone that works for him work in the red light district. It would sully his title as the 13th prince, but more importantly, Zoe is his servant. She has been with him for a long time, and she will serve Noah for life. Just then, Noah calls out to his butler named Dylan. Noah explains that there was a flood in Zoe's hometown, so he instructs Dylan to buy as much of the land there as possible. Zoe's completely stunned, so Noah explains why. There will be villains trying to con people who have lost their livelihoods, like Zoe's mother. Noah wants to protect them, so he instructs Dylan to secure them before anything bad happens. Noah wonders what's wrong when everyone becomes silent, so Dylan explains that he's just surprised. Noah's very young, but he's handling a situation he never experienced before with incredible foresight. This is very true, but Noah thinks about how he saw more than his share of this kind of stuff before he was reincarnated. Dylan wonders where he should get the money to make this purchase because he estimates that buying all that land will cost 700,000 reen. Zoe's shocked by this number, and Noah can't blame her for being surprised. The average annual income of an adult man in the capital is 120 reen. Even Noah's own servants only earn 8,000 reen a year. Even with the tax revenue from Almeria and the monetary gifts from the emperor, Noah only has about 500,000 reen to work with. That leaves 200,000 reen that Noah needs to come up with, but he has an idea. He owns land just south of the capital, so he determines that he will have to sell it. Dylan points out that that land was a gift from the emperor, so selling it without permission would be a crime against the imperial family. Noah doesn't care though, and he says that he will accept the consequences. Zoe doesn't want him getting in trouble, but Noah points out that nobles have their obligations. Sometimes they must sacrifice themselves to bring happiness to as many of their people as possible. Dylan understands, so he says that he will carry out his order immediately. He also makes sure to thank Noah, so Noah remembers that Dylan was from the same area. A while later, Noah prepares to leave for Doso. Just then, he rushes to his brother Henry, and he apologizes for not greeting him sooner. Noah explains that he purchased land in an area called Doso, so he's going to inspect it. Henry notices that Noah is taking the Leviathan, so he wonders if Noah is planning to use it. Noah says that he's not, and he's just taking it as a test. He sensed some kind of power in the sword the first time he held it, but he hasn't felt it since. Noah's taken it with him to see if he will feel it again. Henry actually came to talk about the sword because he looked into it. Albert said some strange things about it, so Henry decided to investigate. He found that the Leviathan seems to have a will of its own, and it only obeys the one it recognizes as its master. Noah thinks of the sword as a mad dog, which means he will have to earn its recognition. Henry tells Noah to carry it with him if he must, but warns against actually using it. He doesn't give any details, and he only tells Noah that his life will come to an end if he ever tries to use it. A while later, Noah arrives in Doso, and Zoe is horrified to see how bad the damage is. The homes are completely destroyed, so Noah determines that buying the land will be more difficult than he assumed. The deeds for the land were probably ruined, so they will have to purchase them from the list held by the government office. Dylan and Zoe are both shocked because Noah was able to ascertain all of that from just one look. Noah tells Dylan to hurry to the office, and he will take responsibility if anything happens. Noah then has Zoe show him around so he can inspect the land. The root vegetables have already started to rot, so Noah determines that there will be no harvest this year. Zoe says that being here could be dangerous, but Noah doesn't care. If she tries to stop him because of the bad people that might be here, then he will just sneak out alone at night. Just then they hear a bell, and Zoe explains that food is being distributed to the homeless. This means that the Empire is doing their job to help the people, but the food is very bland. It's barely more than boiled water, and it tastes terrible. Noah's upset because it's already spoiled, but the people there know that they can't ask for too much. They say that they're just lucky to eat it all, so they accept whatever they can get. Still, Noah can't believe that the Empire would distribute spoiled food, but the guy he's talking to becomes worried. Someone has arrived for an inspection, and it's a local government official. He is Lord Garrel, and he goes to check the food. This guy just looks at it and determines that it looks fine to him. It smells so bad that he has to cover his nose, but he still approves it. Noah doesn't let this slide, and he points out that Lord Garrel must be getting kickbacks. Dylan and Zoe are horrified to see Noah speaking this way to this noble, but it's too late. Noah accuses Garrel of not caring about the people at all, and he says that the only reason he hired these people to hand out food was so he could take some money off the top. Garrel doesn't deny it, and he explains that this is hard work. It takes a lot of effort, so getting some money in return is a privilege afforded to those of them who give so much. These guys then all have a good laugh as he says that this kid just learned a good lesson. Noah isn't laughing though, and he doesn't like Garrel's condescending tone. Noah is clearly getting upset, and we see that something's happening to the Leviathan. Noah explains that getting rich off rations intended for disaster victims is a crime, but Garrel doesn't like that at all. He explains that insulting him is the same as insulting Sir Ron, the ruler of this entire land. He wonders if Noah knows who he is, but Noah interrupts him. Noah says that Garrel's tyrannizing the weak to gain more power, and he is disgusted. Noah's anger continues to build, and we see that the darkness around his sword is starting to grow. Garrel reminds Noah of an angry dog, and this reminds him of the Leviathan. Noah prepares to declare Garrel's punishment, but Garrel's upset himself. He goes to attack Noah, but Noah announces that Garrel's punishment will be death. Just as the tension reaches its peak, the Leviathan flies at our hero. Zoe's horrified as she thinks it impaled him, but the sword actually stopped right next to Noah. Noah can tell that the Leviathan's upset because he associated its name with trash like Geralt. He says that if the sword really is angry, then he wants it to show him its strength. Just then the Leviathan releases its power and it begins to consume our hero. Noah struggles as he feels a great deal of pain and he acknowledges just how strong the sword is. It's clear that the Leviathan is trying to make Noah submit to it by proving its power. It wants Noah to admit that he's weak compared to it, but Noah's disappointed. He points out that the strong only flaunt their power before the weak because they fear someone even stronger. Noah's taking a lot of damage because of the sword, but he's able to withstand it. He declares that if someone is born with a lot of power, then they should use it for the good of the people. He announces that this is his privilege as a noble, and he manages to take hold of the sword. Noah tells the Leviathan to obey him, so the sword does. Geralt continues his attack, but he's no match for Noah and his new sword. The ruthless Noah takes Geralt's head off, so the knights decide that they will have to eliminate the boy. Noah hasn't even shown a tiny bit of his power yet, so he unleashes an attack that amazes everyone. It summons a giant pillar of water, and it leaves a huge hole in the ground. The damage was so immense that the bottom of the hole can't even be seen, and Noah tells the Leviathan that its power is insane. Just then some other knights arrive, and the food distributors tell them that some kid eliminated Lord Geralt. The knight captain is named Rowan, and he immediately bows down to the 13th prince. Noah is surprised to see that someone recognizes him, and Rowan apologizes for how he was treated. Rowan was only sent here recently, and he's actually a servant of Prince Henry. Everyone is confused, so Rowan tells them that they're in the presence of the 13th prince. They all bow down to him, but Noah's concerned about something else. He explains that someone hired these food distributors for kickbacks, so he punished the man who was behind it all. Noah points out who Geralt's accomplices were, and he instructs Rowan to give them the punishment they deserve. As for the food distribution, Noah announces that they will be starting over. He says that from now on, the soup will be much thicker, and it will be made fresh. It should be so dense that he can stand a spoon in it without it falling. Rowan promises to make it happen, and the villagers can't believe that they will actually be able to eat proper food. They all cheer for Prince Noah, so Zoe says that he's really amazing. Elsewhere, Albert is informed about what happened. He realizes that not only did Noah not get bitten, the mad dog actually submitted to him. Albert never could have imagined this, and he determines that Noah may be even more useful than he thought. A while later, Noah is summoned to meet with the Emperor. The Emperor heard that Noah sold some of the land he granted him, and he used the money to buy an entire village. Noah can't deny it, so he prepares to receive his punishment. He is shocked, however, when the Emperor thanks him instead. Noah's efforts had prevented the emergence of anyone trying to take advantage of the flood. If this natural disaster was followed by a man-made disaster, they would have had to commit imperial resources to clean up the mess. The Emperor can only wonder how Noah found out about the flood, so Noah explains that it was simply a coincidence. His maid was from that village, and he just acted quickly. The Emperor also heard that Noah mastered a water magic sword in that village, and Noah can't believe that he knows about it. That isn't all he's shocked by, as the Emperor declares that he would like to see Noah's abilities again. The priest goes to check just like when Noah was born, and he pulls up Noah's status screen. Noah hasn't checked himself in a few days, so he just now realizes something. It turns out that it's not just human subordinates that can add to his stats. His water stat has increased even more, and it's because Noah was able to make the Leviathan his subordinate. The Emperor is amazed, and Noah sees that his water attribute is now triple S rank. The Emperor would like for Noah to continue aiding him, so Noah says that he will. Later, Noah goes to see a singer perform, and we learn that he has given Zoe more work to thank her for her help in her village. Zoe does good work, and she pays attention to the smallest details, so he has given her more responsibilities. Noah's being very smart with how he selects his followers, and he says that you can never have too many brilliant people working for you. Noah then watches closely as the singer performs in front of a large crowd. Her name is Alichi, and Noah can tell a lot about her from the way she sings. She sings earnestly, and she takes it very seriously, which means that she's a very conscientious girl. Just then, some guys barge in to stop the show, and they wonder why Alici is wasting time. They point out that she won't earn enough money to pay off her father's debt this way, so she needs to do something else. Alici explains that singing is all she has, but this just makes the guys even more upset. They point out that there's a better way for a woman to make money, and Alici is horrified by what they mean. Everyone in the crowd is too terrified to say anything, but a single voice gets the attention of the thugs. It's Noah, but the guys tell him to run home to his mommy. Noah ignores the insult, and he simply references Imperial Law 67, Article 2. It says that it's illegal to make children assume their parents' debts. Noah takes the stage and declares that making Alici repay her father's debt and ordering her to sell her body to do it is a crime. One of the thugs angrily tells Noah to not mess with them, but Noah instantly attacks them by summoning the Leviathan. Noah wonders if they really want to keep going, but the guys don't want to mess with him and his terrifying sword. They run off, but they promise not to forget this. Noah tells the owners to inform him if those guys ever come back, and the guy is shocked to learn that Noah's a prince. Noah tells Alici that he's very impressed with her voice, and he wonders how much her living expenses are every single month. Alici doesn't even want to say, because it's a lot due to the treatment she has to pay for her mother's illness. Noah doesn't even wait for her answer, and he simply says 25 reen. Alici doesn't even understand what's going on, so Noah explains that it's how much he will pay her every month so she can concentrate on singing. That isn't even the best of it, as he explains that he will increase the amount as she improves. Alici is shocked by his incredible kindness, so she thanks our hero. Noah says it's not a problem, and he would like to hear the rest of her performance. When Noah returns home, he is told that some lenders have come to see him. Noah notices that it's the thugs from before, and he is told that they want to apologize to him. Noah determines that they just want to apologize after finding out who he is, so he tells his maid to have them sent away. He has a message for them as well, and that is that a prince is not someone that they can just see whenever they want. Henry arrives, and he's impressed by how Noah handled the situation. Granting an audience to men like them would devalue Noah's standing as royalty, so he's right to send them away. Noah agrees, but he explains that he has another reason for getting rid of them. He's going to help Alici, so he wants the lenders to think that he's still angry with them. As long as they think that Noah's angry, they won't bother Alici. Henry's really impressed because this means that Noah's thinking very far ahead. He points out that their brothers Frank and Gary are closer to Noah's age, but they don't think like him at all. Gary's the one most guilty of bad behavior because despite all the teaching he receives, he still hasn't learned his manners. Noah is sure that his brothers will learn soon enough, but deep down he isn't so sure. Just then, Henry changes the conversation as he would like to talk about the magic sword again. It seems like Noah has mastered it, and Noah gives the credit to Henry. Henry was the one that said that the Leviathan has a will of its own, and he was right. Henry can only wonder how Noah carries it around as he remembers that the sword is huge. Just then, Noah shocks him out of his seat as he summons the Leviathan. Noah reveals that he hides the sword in his sleeve by shrinking it down to a tiny size. Henry has never seen anything like this before, and Noah explains that the sword itself taught him how to shrink it down. This is totally unprecedented, and Henry can't believe it. The Leviathan was isolated as a national treasure for 2 centuries, and even the records from before then mention nothing about this. Henry boils it down to Noah simply being amazing, and he credits him for unlocking the sword's true potential. That night, we see that the lenders are still bowing down in front of the gate. It's been hours, so the guys lose their patience. One guy begins to hurl curse words at the castle, and he tells Noah not to get all snotty by ignoring them. The other guys try to stop their leader, but he vows to eliminate Noah for ignoring them. Noah then uses a new ability as he forces the guys to the ground by just glaring at them. Henry can tell that Noah nearly knocked these guys unconscious by just looking at them, so he can only wonder what Noah did this time. Noah reveals that he unleashed just a tiny bit of the Leviathan's power and used it to threaten them. A while later, Noah arrives at a hall and he is greeted by Radok. When he enters the building, everyone begins to clap for him, and they talk about how he's the 13th prince. He looks so dignified for someone his age, and it's clear that he's the son of the king. Radok wonders what Noah's carrying on his waist, so Noah explains that it was a gift from the crown prince. He simply says that it's the Leviathan, and everyone is shocked. This sword is a national treasure, and everyone is amazed because it was a direct gift from the Crown Prince. Some jerk in the crowd says that it's probably just a toy replica, but he is horrified when he realizes that Noah hurt him. The Leviathan itself is even more upset than Noah, and it can't hold back its lust for blood. Its darkness spreads through the entire room, so Noah must command for it to hold itself back. The Leviathan obeys Noah's orders immediately, and it withdraws its dark power before anyone loses their lives. Noah determines that the Leviathan was angry because its master was insulted, but that's not okay. Noah tells the sword that he appreciates its loyalty, but he says that it went too far. Radok is surprisingly pleased with the display, as he is sure that everyone felt very close to losing their lives. That was the true power of a national treasure, and what just happened clearly demonstrated that Noah has won control over that overwhelming power. The crowd buys into what he's saying, as they determine that Noah saved all their lives with just a single word. The sword was ready to make them all pay for doubting Noah, but Noah mercifully spared their lives. This makes them all adore Noah even more, so they cheer for him once again. Radok wonders what they should do about the guy that doubted him, so Noah simply says to leave him be. He already embarrassed himself, and he can't hide from it. As the night goes on, everyone takes turns introducing themselves to the prince. One guy introduces himself and his daughter, and Noah amazes everyone, as he's able to tell a lot about them from one look. He can tell that the father's a second or third generation noble, and his daughter's adopted. Noah is able to guess this because the father has the bearing of someone that was born into a high rank, but his daughter doesn't. Furthermore, Noah can tell that his daughter is a former slave. He reached this conclusion because the moment she felt flustered, she gave Noah a curious look. It's a look unique to people who have been slaves, and Noah noticed it immediately. The father named Alan can't believe that Noah was able to tell all this, and he confirms everything. He originally bought the girl named Cindy as a slave, but she learns very quickly, so he has been teaching her as his adopted daughter. Noah then surprises them, as he says that he really likes stories like that. He would like to hear more, so he says that he would like for them to visit his mansion sometime. The two of them thank the prince, and they make their leave. Noah's even more impressed by Alan, because he knew when it was the perfect time to leave. Radok agrees that the guy is very smart, because if he stayed any longer, then everyone would get envious of him. The crowd still takes notice of Alan, because he was the first one to be acknowledged by the prince. Just then, Noah reveals that there was another way he could tell that Cindy wasn't Alan's real daughter. Noah demonstrates by releasing some of the Leviathan's evil power, and Cindy immediately notices. Noah reveals that Cindy has been protecting Alan since the first time he used the sword as a threat. A girl her age would normally be the one being protected, but she's no ordinary girl. Radok is shocked because Noah knew this from the very start, and he says that he's never been so impressed by anyone before. The next day, Noah is greeted by the 8th prince, named Oscar. Noah says that he's just out on a walk, so Oscar says that he should join him in a treasure hunt. Noah agrees, so they head to Cobalt Street. Noah has heard of this place before, because it is said that antiques from all over the Empire can be found here. Oscar says that this is true, but there can also be many counterfeits. Finding the real treasure among them is something any noble should be able to do. The guys spend the day looking for great treasures, but in the end, they don't find anything good. Oscar calls it bad luck, and he's surprised when Noah buys something. It's a cheap book that only costs 3 reen, so Oscar assumes that Noah just bought it because it was a bargain. Noah says that the book just made him curious, and Oscar is shocked when he realizes what it really is. He can't believe it at first, but a closer look makes him sure. It's the Grimoire of Andrea, who was a legendary sorcerer. It's the original copy, which means that it's without a doubt a genuine treasure. Depending what's inside the book, Noah might be able to sell it for 1,000 reen. This is truly unbelievable, so Oscar wonders how Noah knew what it was. Noah of course didn't know, but the moment he touched it, a plus was added to his win stat. Just then Noah realizes something, and the Leviathan begins to shake uncontrollably. The sword has realized it as well, and Noah takes it and points it at the book. Only beings with their own will can add to his stats, which means that this book must have a will of its own. Threatening the book with his sword causes it to react, and it begins to release its own power. The book opens to a page with a magic circle in it, and even more power flows out of it. Something terrifying emerges from the book, and Oscar is in disbelief. He can't understand what's happening, and he wonders if the book is a forbidden tomb with the sorcerer's soul sealed inside it. The situation is getting more dangerous every second, so Oscar tells Noah to run. He has determined that this being is the vengeful spirit of the great sorcerer who has mastered wind magic. Violent winds begin to fill the air, so Oscar once again tells Noah to run. Noah refuses, however, and he tells the spirit to leave. He unleashes an immensely powerful water attack from the Leviathan, and this immediately defeats the spirit. The sky is clear once again, and Noah confirms that the spirit is gone because his wind stat no longer shows a plus. Oscar checks to see if there's any collateral damage, but Noah assures him that everything is fine. Noah didn't want to hurt anyone or damage any of the buildings, so he aimed his attack upwards. Oscar's amazed by him once again because Noah was able to make that kind of decision in a mere instant. He doesn't remember Noah being this way, so he can only wonder when he became this strong. Just then, a merchant named Barley introduces himself. After seeing what Noah's capable of, he has decided to show him something. Noah wonders if it's some kind of treasure, but the merchant isn't really sure. He shows it to them and explains that it's a ring that will only show its true form when its true owner appears. Barley has shown it to many people, but it never responds. It's not doing anything now, so Noah says that it could also just be trash. The merchant considered this before, and he even tried to get rid of it many times. However, no matter how many times he throws it away, the ring just keeps coming back. It keeps reappearing in his store, which makes him certain that there's something special about it. Noah tries it on, and Barley is shocked as it begins to glow for the first time ever. A mysterious voice declares that the level limit has been confirmed. It reveals that it's a triple S rarity item, and it has just recognized Noah as its new owner. It says armor eyes, and a strange liquid begins to flow out of it. It moves over Noah's arms and legs, and the guys are shocked when the ring's true form is finally revealed. Even Noah's amazed because the ring has changed into armor that covers Noah's arms and legs. There's no change in his stats though, which means that it's not the same sort of being as that Grimoire or the Leviathan. The ring is without a doubt a very special item though, and it will have its uses. Noah says that he will buy the ring from Bardsley, and he will have payment sent to him later. Oscar, however, offers to pay for it, and says that Noah can just think of it as a gift. First, Noah awakened a magic sword, and now he did the same for a magic ring, so Oscar is sure that there's something very special about Noah. The two guys eventually part ways, but the lender appears to attack Noah. Noah's friends try to protect him, but he doesn't need it. Instead, he activates his ring and tracks everyone by using it to create a shield. The guy is dealt with, and Noah puts his shield away. Oscar doesn't remember seeing that before, so Noah explains that he linked the ring with the Leviathan. Noah wasn't sure what would happen, but the ring seems to have reacted to the guy's hostility with automatic defense. Oscar is amazed once again as he realizes that Noah has already mastered the ring's power in such a short time. Later, Noah goes to see Alici perform again, and he thinks about how the lender is done for after attacking him. They won't be bothering Alici anymore either, so he reminds himself to tell her that later. Just then, some drunk guy jumps onto the stage to hit on Alici. Another guy says that he saw her first, so they begin to argue. A fight is about to break out, but Noah comes out of nowhere to stop them with his shield. He follows it up with an attack from his sword, and the guys run for their lives. The owner apologizes for what happened, so Noah tells them to never let guys like them in ever again. The owner points out that customers like them are the ones keeping his business alive, so he has no other choice. Noah tells him not to worry, and he stuns the guy by saying that he will just buy the entire business. Noah has Zoe show him the money, and he offers to pay the guy 1,000 reen. The owner happily accepts, so Alici doesn't know how to repay Noah for everything he's done. Noah explains that all he wants from her is her music, so she can repay him by continuing to sing. She wonders if he really likes her singing that much, and Noah explains that he sees a lot of potential in her. He wants the Emperor to hear her one day, so he tells her to devote herself to singing until then. Alici couldn't be happier, so she promises to work as hard as she can. As she sings, Noah determines that his judgment was spot on because investing in people is the real treasure. A while later, Noah is told that he has a guest. His name is Marley, and he's the Governor General of a place called Holdjoy. Marley was given an imperial order to manage the flood control in Holdjoy, but it's not going so well. Holdjoy is a fertile grain-producing region in the bend of a large river, but it suffers from flooding. The emperor appointed Marley of Almeria, the home of the Water Clan, to govern it in hopes that he could stabilize it. Marley explains that the problem is that they haven't received any funding, and they can't use money they don't have. Marley's working under an imperial order, so Noah says that there must be money for him to use. Marley explains that they were supposed to be given money, but the Minister of Finance hasn't been giving it to them. Noah doesn't waste any time, and he tells Marley to follow him. They meet with the Minister of Finance named Maverick, and Noah gets right to the point. Maverick has been delaying the distribution of funds, and Noah demands to know why. Maverick denies delaying the funds, so Noah wonders why he isn't giving Marley the money. Maverick assures him that there is a very good reason for this, but Noah can already see where this is going. He tells Maverick that if he's going to say that a child wouldn't understand, then it would be better for him to just stay silent. Maverick is caught off guard by Noah's assertiveness, and he says that he would never be so rude. Noah then instructs him to tell him the reason, so Maverick explains. Holdjoy also suffered major flood damage last year, so out of the kindness of the Emperor's heart, he granted them an entire year of tax exemption. This means that they should have extra money from not paying taxes, and it's Maverick's opinion that they should use that money for Marley's work. Marley has heard this excuse before, and he fears that Noah will give in, but he is shocked when Noah actually becomes upset. Noah wonders if Maverick is belittling him, because he would never consider that a good reason. Holdjoy had a flood, so the Emperor gave them a tax exemption because they had no money to pay with. Maverick speaks as if they have that money, but it never existed in the first place. Noah says that he will ask one more time, so he asks Maverick if he's belittling him. Maverick is startled, and he says that the truth is that he can't send the money right now. He seems to come up with an excuse on the spot, as he says that the reason has to do with the Emperor himself. He explains that currently, there's a plan to build the Emperor's summer retreat. The Emperor is not young anymore, so he should spend his summers away from the heat and somewhere a bit cooler. It's simply a retreat, but it's for the Emperor, so they have decided to build him a royal villa. This means building an entire city that the Emperor can proudly call his villa, and that requires a vast amount of money. Marley hears that he's bringing the Emperor into this, so he fears that Noah will surely give in this time, but Noah shocks him once again. Noah interrupts Maverick's explanation and tells him to be silent. Noah says that Maverick is committing a grave crime against the royal family, and Maverick is terrified. Maverick saying that they don't have enough money is ridiculous, and Noah wonders if Maverick thinks that the Emperor is some kind of fool. That's the last thing Maverick wants him to think, so he apologizes for the misunderstanding. Noah simply tells him to distribute the funds, and he threatens to appeal to the Emperor himself if he doesn't. Maverick is terrified of this, so he says that he will supply Holdjoy with funding immediately. Marley's completely shocked because Noah got the Minister of Finance to yield without lifting a finger. He tells Noah that the way he negotiates is brilliant. He caught Maverick in his lies and contradictions with verbal mastery. Noah has his utmost admiration, and all he can do now is bow down before him. Marley thanks him and says that he will hurry back and proceed with the flood control measures. After he leaves, Noah is told that the Emperor wants to see him. The Emperor says that he did well because he heard that Noah corrected Maverick in a negotiation. That only just happened, so Noah can only wonder how the Emperor already knows about it. Noah is incredibly humble, so he says that he only did what anyone would do. The Emperor agrees, but he points out that what comes naturally doesn't always come easily. There are many slick talkers out there who know how to use flattery, so not many people can do the right thing with natural ease. The Emperor puts his hand on Noah's head and says that what he is doing is very impressive for someone that is only 6 years old. He sees that the Leviathan is smaller than it used to be, and he's impressed that Noah was able to master it. The magic sword has a very dark history, so the idea of Noah fully mastering it can only be described as remarkable. Noah knows exactly what he's talking about, because if he didn't stop the Leviathan the other day, it would have eliminated everyone at the party. The Emperor thinks it would be a good idea for Noah to learn some techniques to wield the sword, so he summoned an instructor of swordsmanship. His name is Damian Noble, and he is the Empire's greatest swordsman. It is said that no one can match his skills, so Noah promises to learn everything he can from him. Noble requests a bout with Noah immediately, and the Emperor is surprised because Noah doesn't know anything about swordsmanship yet. Noble tells him not to worry because he only intends on observing Noah's aptitude, not his technique. The Emperor allows it, so Noah realizes that this guy clearly has his father's trust. Their bout begins, and Noble tells Noah to come at him however he sees fit. Noah prepares himself, and he's surprised to feel that the Leviathan is shaking from excitement. The two fighters clash, and Noah notices that the Leviathan's memories are flowing into him. They are the memories of all its past owners, and this includes their fighting abilities. Noah is able to remove the sword from Noble's hands, and he determines that this truly is a magic sword that chooses its own master. Its previous owners must have been very skilled, and now Noah wields that power. Noble apologizes to the Emperor because he has nothing to teach the prince. Noah's strength and speed are definitely those of a child, but he used technique alone to disarm him. The reason Noble has nothing to teach him is because Noah already possesses the swordsmanship skill of a master. The Emperor can only laugh as he's once again impressed by his incredible son. He comes up with an idea and says that he will make Noah a judge in this year's night selection exam. He thinks that there's no one better suited for the job, so Noah accepts. The night selection exam is an annual event involving participants from all corners of the empire. For this empire, a nation of warriors that treasures its military, it is said that the way of the warrior is the only path to success. In the exam, the fighters who win the regional preliminaries meet in the capital for the final battles. The one who emerges victorious earns the title of knight and immediately joins the upper ranks of society. The first job of the new knight is to become a subordinate of the head judge. This means that Noah will be getting a powerful knight under his command, and he's very much looking forward to it. With a talented knight in his service, Noah knows that he will become even stronger. There's no telling how much it will boost his stats, and he can't wait to find out. The first decision the head judge must make is how he will judge the event. Winners will either be decided by round robin or elimination. Noah says that he only has one request and explains that he wants to do away with the regional preliminaries. This way he can do all the judging here in the capital and see everything with his own eyes. The Emperor can only wonder why, so Noah explains that their nation is vast. He can't observe all the preliminaries in every region, and he wouldn't want any strong candidates to be excluded for random reasons. He doesn't want to leave any stone unturned, and he simply doesn't want to overlook any good talent. The Emperor is pleased to hear this, so he tells Noah to do as he pleases. Later, Noah wonders if there are any night selection exam participants in Zoe's village. Zoe confirms that there's only one that their village sends to the exam every year. Noah explains that he did away with the regional preliminaries this year, so her village can send more participants. Zoe's caught off guard, so Noah wonders what's wrong. She says it's nothing, but Noah can tell that she wants to say something. He assures her that he isn't mad or anything, he just wants to know what she's thinking. Zoe explains that the reason her village only sends one challenger is because they can't afford the travel and lodging expenses. Everything costs more in the capital, so it takes donations from all the villagers just to send one challenger. This is exactly the kind of thing Noah wanted to know about, because it could interfere with him finding the absolute best competitor. Noah wants to choose from as many people as possible, and it wouldn't be good to overlook any talent for this kind of reason. He doesn't want a single challenger in the nation to be left out, so he says that he will cover all travel and lodging expenses. Zoe points out that this would cost a great deal of money, but Noah has a plan. He instructs Dylan to find out how many vacant houses are in the capital and to buy them all. If there are not enough houses, then they will build a dormitory. As for the meals, he tells Dylan to talk to all the merchants that they have connections with. Noah says that he will even speak with some of them himself, and Zoe's once again amazed by him. A while later, Noah can't believe it when he sees the bill for all the food that's going to feed every participant. It's not nearly as much as he imagined it would be, so Alan explains that they gave a huge discount because it's a request from the 13th prince. Noah isn't buying it, and he's sure that Alan is lying. Merchants don't give money away out of mere compassion, so Noah wonders what Alan wants from him. Noah's right once again, and Alan can't believe that a boy his age understands the world so well. Alan comes clean and explains what he wants. There is a placement employment exam run on roughly the same scale as the night selection exam. Alan wants to put a girl in the palace, but it's not easy. Noah realizes that if Alan had someone in the palace, then he would be the first to hear new information. Also, if she were ordered to spend nights with the Emperor as a consort, the profits would be immeasurable. Alan doesn't want Noah to think that this is some kind of ultimatum, so he says that he already sent a token of gratitude to Noah's mansion. Noah can tell that this is just an advance payment for helping him, so he determines that Alan is pretty smart. Noah agrees to put in a good word for the girl, but only if it's a girl that Noah likes. Alan's incredibly grateful, but Noah reminds him that it must be a girl he sincerely approves of. Alan promises to choose a girl who measures up to Noah's standards, and he reveals something else. He says that Noah is incredibly kind, and he has a very keen perception. That elevates Noah above everyone else in his eyes, which is why he would like to add the crest of the 13th Prince's house to his store sign. This means that he's ready to fully devote himself to Noah's service, so Noah must explain to him that he will not tolerate any betrayal. Alan vows to stay loyal to him, so Noah accepts his service. That night, Noah thinks about how accepting Alan as his subordinate increased his stats. The increase correlates with the abilities of the subordinate, so Noah determines that if he keeps this up, he can get even stronger. Just then, Noah sees that one of his stats went down. The water stat went down from plus double S to a single S, so he fears that something happened in Almeria. He determines that this matter is urgent, so he instructs Zoe to tell his driver to head to the Emperor's palace. Noah informs the Emperor that there has been some kind of change in Almeria, so the Emperor wonders how he knew. It sounds like the Emperor heard about it as well, but the Emperor explains that he merely noticed the signs. Before Noah can explain, a messenger arrives to tell the Emperor what just happened. There has been a rebellion in Almeria, and the Emperor is impressed that Noah was able to sense it. He wonders how large Noah thinks the rebellion is, so Noah gives it some thought. His double S dropped to a single S, which means it only went down one rank out of several. Noah says that he believes the rebellion is small in scale right now, and the Emperor confirms his intuition. He reveals that the report identified 5,000 rebels. Their numbers are low, so the Emperor wonders if Noah is planning to handle this himself. He's surprised when Noah says that that would be impossible. Noah says that he's still young and unfamiliar with combat, so he doesn't think the soldiers will listen to him. If they were to send a prince to subjugate this matter, Noah thinks it should be one of his older brothers. This is not an answer the Emperor expected, because Noah looked at the situation so objectively before refusing. The Emperor decides to trust his judgment, and he asks which brother Noah would recommend. Noah believes that Henry would be the best choice, but the Emperor says that Henry can be difficult to deal with sometimes, so he wonders why Noah would choose him. Noah points out that the rebels are low in number, so the best way to deal with them is by suppressing them head on. Henry's the most prudent of all his brothers, so he's the best for this job. The Emperor is impressed with Noah's decision, so he orders for Henry to be summoned. As they leave, Henry wonders if Noah is sure about his decision. Ending the rebellion is a big deal, and this could be a chance for Noah to increase his status. This empire is a nation of warriors, so a great achievement in battle would greatly benefit Noah. Noah already knows this, but he also knows that he's inexperienced. Even if he did survive while handling it himself, he is sure that many soldiers would lose their lives. Noah thinks it would be better for someone with more experience to handle it, because it would spare many more lives, and that's more important to him than his status. Just then, the Leviathan begins to glow, and Noah realizes that the enemy is here. He instructs the carriage to stop, and he thinks about how the Leviathan just reacted to them. He realizes that the enemy is after him, and he doesn't want to get his brother involved. Noah immediately jumps outside, and surprisingly puts himself out in danger. This sets off a water trap that was waiting for him, and everyone is horrified as he's engulfed in water. The attackers show themselves to take advantage of this, but they are shocked when they see that Noah defended himself with several shields. Noah determines that they are water users, which means that they are Almerian rebels. They move in to attack our hero, but Noah begins eliminating them with ruthless precision. His skills are on full display, and he makes light work of the rebels. They are in disbelief because Noah's just a kid, but it's too late as they're all defeated. Henry says that Noah has gotten much stronger since they last met, and he just wishes they could have interrogated the rebels. Noah surprisingly reveals that he didn't end their lives, and he simply used the Leviathan's threat to knock them unconscious. Henry confirms that they're still breathing, but this attack was surprising to him. He heard that the rebel army was centered around cavalrymen, and he didn't know there would be these types of fighters as well. This is odd for Noah to hear, because Almeria doesn't have a strong supply of war horses. They must be getting them from somewhere else, so he comes up with an idea. He meets up with Alan because he does business in the area surrounding Almeria. Citizens aren't supposed to know what he's about to tell Alan, so Noah says that he considers himself dead if he tells anyone. Alan understands, so Noah reveals that there's a rebellion in Almeria. Cavalrymen are the center of their forces, but Almeria is not well equipped to handle so many war horses. Noah gives Alan 10,000 reen and tells him to purchase all the horse feed in Almeria. Almeria won't have much food for horses since they are so ill-equipped for them, so they will be able to neutralize the cavalry by cutting their supplies of horse feed. Alan is amazed by Noah's brilliant idea, so he says that he will get started right away. Noah is sure that this will work, and it will make it a lot easier for his brother to fight. Later, the king reveals that they were able to get information from the guys that try to eliminate Noah. It turns out that they were actually trying to kidnap him so they could use him as a bargaining chip. Noah wonders if they gave in too easily, and he suspects that they might be lying. The king is once again impressed by Noah's intelligence, but he points out that there are ways to get people to tell the truth. Noah isn't familiar with the ways of torture, so he just trusts his father. The king is impressed because he heard that Noah is targeting the rebel horses, and this shocks Noah because they only just now told Alan about his plan. The king surprised him like this before, but this time was even faster. The king explains that starvation tactics are pretty common, and Albert, the second prince, even suggested starving the rebels themselves. Noah, on the other hand, realized on his own that this would cause the rebels to attack the people, and he chose to starve their horses instead. The king says that he's not only impressed by Noah's ideas, it's also his ability to act on them. The king wants to reward Noah somehow, so he permits the addition of a sword to Noah's crest. Noah is stunned, and he explains to us why that's such a big deal. In this nation of warriors, the sword serves as a symbol of a warrior. Adding a sword without the king's permission is sacrilege, and it's punishable by death. However, being granted the emperor's permission to add one is among the greatest honors a person can earn. The king orders the production of the new crest, so Noah thanks his father. Later, Alan explains that he gathered a lot of information about the horse feed. He knows every single type that's being imported, and it will be a simple task to buy it all. Besides that, Alan has learned about the leader of the rebels, named Carfan. He's extremely tenacious, and he will do whatever it takes to achieve his goal. Just then, a maid arrives to explain that there's a wounded man at the front gate. He has an urgent report, and he introduces himself as an officer from Almeria. He says that there has been a rebellion, and reveals that his superior started an uprising. This guy couldn't bring himself to go along with it, so instead he fled to report the situation to Noah. Alan feels bad for the guy because Noah already knows this, but Noah's still gracious to him. He thanks the guy for the information and has his maid treat his wounds. Noah even gives him a 1,000 reen reward, so Alan can't understand why. Noah already knows about the rebellion, so that information wasn't useful to him. Noah doesn't care about that, he just knows that the guy risked his life to warn him. That kind of loyalty is hard to find, so Noah simply wanted to reward it. Later, we see that Zoe's very distressed as she goes to see Noah. She collapses to the ground and hands him a small bag of money. There is 500 reen inside, and Zoe reveals that a stranger gave it to her. All they told her to do in return was get Noah to drink a sleeping drug. She was supposed to mix it into his drink, then hand Noah over to them once he fell asleep. Noah can tell that these were the rebels, making it clear that they really want to kidnap him. Noah wonders why she brought the money to him, so she explains that she could never betray him. Noah helped her mother and even her entire village, so she would never do anything to hurt him. Unfortunately, they said they would end her life if she didn't do what they told her to. Zoe can only cry now because she could never bring herself to betray Noah. Noah completely understands, so he rewards her. They try to buy her betrayal for 500 reen, but she didn't do it. Nothing is more important to Noah than loyalty, so he added a 0 to the number they gave her. Zoe is stunned because it's 5,000 reen, so she refuses to accept so much money. Noah tells her that she doesn't have a choice, so she thanks her generous master. Noah reveals that there's something he wants her to do, so she says that she will do anything. Noah shocks her by revealing that he's going to drink the drug that they gave her. When he falls asleep, he wants Zoe to take him to the people that told her to do it. Zoe can't believe it, and Noah says that she must run and hide afterwards. They will try to silence her if she sticks around, but her job will be done by then. Zoe has no clue why he would want this, but we see that Noah has a plan. Noah wakes up after being drugged, and he hears the rebels wondering if they should end his life. Their leader told them only to do that as a last resort, so they will let him live for now. Noah's all tied up, but we see that he hid his sword inside of his ear. He brings it out, and he's relieved to see that his captors didn't take his ring. Noah uses the power of his ring to cut the rope, and he sets himself free. His eyes adjust to the darkness, and he realizes that he's in the back of a wagon. Noah wants to know what happened after he fell asleep, so he tells the Leviathan to show him its memories. This shows the rebels arriving, and how Zoe was able to run away just in time. Noah is able to see how many of them there are, and he completely understands the situation now. Noah's ready, so he reveals himself to all the rebels. They aren't very impressed because they're under the impression that Noah's big brother was the one who saved him against the other rebels. They prepare for a fight, but Noah easily takes one of them out in the blink of an eye. The rebels are all shocked, and Noah's disappointed. He thought he would be able to get information from these guys, but he now knows that they're just lackeys. They're insulted, so they all attack him at the same time, but Noah's just too skilled. He wipes the floor with them, and the battle's over almost immediately. Zoe arrives soon after, and she has brought several knights with her. Noah wonders what the meaning of this is, and she can only apologize. She knows that he told her to hide, but she was worried about him, so she brought the knights to save him. It's clear now that he didn't need saving, and all the knights are shocked that Noah defeated all these rebels himself. Noah orders for the captain of the knights to handle the rebels, but he notices something when one of the rebels' sword falls to the ground. Noah urgently tells the knights not to touch it, and he tells everyone to stay away from it. This dagger is covered in darkness, and Noah is shocked by how much malice it has. Through his Leviathan, Noah is able to sense that this weapon has a curse on it too. It has some kind of sorcery on it, and it's filled with the hatred of the one that cursed it. Noah sees an image of this person, and he comes up with an idea. The curse seems to be attached to the person, so he wonders if his Leviathan can do something. He senses that his sword is sure it can do it, so Noah begins the process. This causes an immense power to emerge from the Leviathan in the form of water, and it takes to the sky. This thing even goes into outer space before eventually taking out its target. The next day, the Emperor surprisingly gets on his knee to tell Noah that he did a good job. He just received the great news that last night something happened to the leader of the rebels. He was pierced through the head by a pillar of water that appeared out of nowhere. The Emperor can't be sure, but he assumes that this had to be Noah's doing. Noah confirms that it was, and he thinks about what he did. He used the hatred in the dagger to guide the Leviathan to the rebel leader with a long-distance sniping shot. This was an incredible feat, and Noah's just glad that it worked. After losing their leader, the rebel army was quickly suppressed by Henry. Nearly everyone responsible has been arrested, and it's time for the Emperor to decide what their punishment will be. Everyone in the courtroom waits for his decision, and he finally decides. He tells his men to ready the horses so that the culprits can be pulled apart by them. The king tells Noah to just wait because the rebels will pay for their crime of launching a rebellion on Noah's land. Just then, everyone is shocked as Noah says that they shouldn't do that. The Emperor demands to know what the meaning of this is, so Noah explains that the rebels must be punished in accordance with the law. According to imperial law, rebel leaders are to be cut in half at the waist. Third-degree supporters and accomplices are to be hanged, and any others are to have their heads taken off. The punishment the Emperor suggested doesn't exist in the laws of this empire. The Emperor points out that these culprits sullied Noah's name, so their punishment should match. Noah isn't letting this affect his judgment, so he explains why it's such a bad idea. If the Emperor breaks the law by punishing them in an unlawful way, then it can throw the king's supremacy into disarray. Tensions rise as everyone fears that the Emperor will be angry, but he's actually impressed by Noah's sound logic. He realizes that he was making a mistake, and he credits Noah for catching it. The audience is stunned because the Emperor just acknowledged Noah's decision-making over his own. The Emperor will not be satisfied with the tame punishment, so he orders for the culprits to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. He wonders if Noah sees any problems with this, so Noah says that it's fine. The audience is amazed by Noah's bravery because he countered the Emperor himself without even changing his expression. The Emperor says that Noah stopped him from sullying this empire's good name in history, so he must be rewarded. He decides to grant Noah a title so that his cleverness can be known to everyone. For this, the Emperor grants Noah the title called Wise. The audience gasps in amazement as the prince has a new title because this has never been done before. This change shows on Noah's status screen as well, as his title changes from the 13th prince to the Wise Prince. The Emperor then gives him the greatest compliment of all, as he wishes that Noah had been born just a while sooner. The audience erupts with applause, and they all cheer for the Wise Prince. The king reminds Noah that the night selection is coming up soon, and he wonders if Noah has decided how he will judge it. Noah reveals that he has a plan, so he shows him after the trial. Noah has several guards surround him outside, and each one of them has a bucket of water. He instructs them to begin, so the guards start tossing the water at Noah. Noah's ring acts immediately by summoning a shield and blocking each attack. Noah explains that he will have the participants attack him like this, and he will judge them based on how close their attacks get to him. The Emperor says that this is another one of Noah's brilliant ideas because it will reduce the burden on Noah and ease the judgment process. He points out, however, that this strategy is not without risks. If any contender is powerful enough to break through Noah's defenses, there's no telling what will happen. Noah impresses his father once more as he says that he's prepared to handle that situation as well. The Emperor accepts the plan of the wise prince, and Noah thanks his father. A while later, the Prime Minister named Noisehill wonders if what the Emperor said was a good idea. In front of everyone, he told Noah that he wished he had been born sooner. This means that Noah would be the front runner to take his throne if he was born sooner, but this could cause problems between the brothers. The Emperor doesn't see the issue because Noah deserved the praise. Not only did he stand up to him in front of everyone, Noah also took out the enemy leader without even going to the battlefield. Besides that magic sword of his really seems to possess terrifying power. Just then, the king calls out to someone named Cruz and tells him to bring something out. The king seems to be hiding something, as he explains that the legend says that the true seal on the Leviathan must not be broken. It would be incredibly dangerous, but the Emperor wonders what the outcome would be if Noah were the one to release it. A while later, we see that the night competition has been going on for some time, and several warriors are still participating. The night selection exam is the Empire's largest annual event, and it draws everyone's attention. This year in particular has garnered a lot of attention because this is the first time in history that a prince is serving as a judge. A great number of people have gathered to see Noah, and he now prepares himself to test another warrior. The examinee desperately tries to land an attack, but Noah's shield is too powerful. It blocks every strike, and the examinee's sword eventually breaks. The audience is stunned because several warriors have tried, but not a single one has been able to break Noah's defenses. Nearby, the king is told that this year's exam is considered to be far more exciting than those of the past. The king reminds Cruz that the night selection exam is for choosing a worthy soldier. The outcome is all that matters, and he looks forward to seeing what sort of fighter Noah chooses. The next examinee has some kind of incredible power, and everyone watches in amazement as he releases a blast of energy. Everyone is left in shock, however, as Noah easily defends himself from this attack as well. Today's exam will soon be coming to an end, so Noah's disappointed because he didn't find any noteworthy candidates. The next test will be the last of the day, so the final examinee steps forward. Her attack is of course blocked, but Noah's caught off guard as she manages to pierce his shield. The girl declares that she isn't done yet, and she's shockingly able to break Noah's defenses. The crowd watches in horror as her blade pierces Noah, and she's taken into custody. No one can believe that she actually managed to injure the prince, and they say that the law is going to come down hard on her. Just then, everyone is stunned as Noah tells the guards to let the girl go. Her name is Shirley, and everyone watches in awe as Noah tells her that she passed. No one can believe it because she just injured him, but Noah says that she's definitely worthy. Later, Noah would like to hear where Shirley got her armor, so she explains that it has been handed down in her family for generations. Shirley wonders what kind of punishment she will receive for hurting him, but Noah knows that she didn't do it on purpose. Noah was the one that told the warriors to attack him, so he doesn't blame her for just doing what she was told. Noah tells her to use the same attack again right now, but Shirley's taken by surprise. Noah points out that she's a knight, so she should just follow his orders. Shirley does as he says, and Noah blocks her attack again. He tells her to try and break through like she did before, but Shirley is stunned as the shield won't budge a single inch. She can't understand what's going on, so Noah explains that this is what he could have done if he really wanted to block her attack. A knight's job is to follow orders, and Noah just wanted to see if she would execute his orders faithfully. The reason he allowed her to fully break his shield earlier is because he needs a knight who's not going to hold back out of fear of what he might do. Shirley came at him twice now without holding back, so he determines that she has what it takes. Shirley's amazed by his resolve to find the perfect knight, so she swears her undying loyalty to him. Noah takes a look at his status screen, and he sees that as far as people go, Shirley has raised his stats the most. She's only one person, but adding her to his army has given him a plus F for several attributes. Just then, Dr. Good arrives to tend to Noah's wound. Shirley has never seen a doctor like him before, so Noah wonders what people in her village do with their injured. Shirley explains that their elders simply prays for them, and Dr. Good says that that's pretty common in poor villages. Noah knows that the quickest way to become a doctor is to start as an apprentice, so he comes up with an idea. He gives Shirley her first order and tells her to bring in the most clever and hardworking people in her village. Noah then tells Dr. Good that he will take on a few of them as his apprentices. Shirley is stunned by this kind act, and Noah even says that he will take care of all the expenses. He tells Shirley to bring anyone who's up to the task of being a doctor because he wants them to treat the other people in her village. Shirley's at a complete loss for words, and she can only thank the prince. Noah simply tells her that knights don't bow down like this, so she will have to brush up on her knightly etiquette. Later, Shirley prepares to begin her job as a knight, and she runs into some of the maids. They're wondering what sort of lady the prince might want as a bride, so Shirley points out that he's still pretty young. They explain that things are different for royalty because the other princes were all married before they turned 15. The maids think about who he might want to marry, and they list off some of the princesses in nearby kingdoms. Shirley is stunned, but one of the maids explains that this is just how popular Noah has become. There's no prince kinder than him, and the other maids point out that Zoe has gotten very close to him. She has even started to learn magic, and it's all because of Noah. Afterwards, Noah's given the report on this year's knight selection exam now that it's over. Thanks to Noah's screening method, all of this year's new knights are excellent. The knight captain says that all the knights are very grateful for the role Noah played in getting them there, and Noah's grateful as well. He has Shirley escort the captain outside, and she thanks him for visiting them. The captain is impressed by her poise, and he quickly realizes something. He explains that Noah sent her to see off another knight as part of her training, and Shirley can't believe that Noah is thinking that far ahead. The captain tells her that she will never go wrong as long as she sticks with Noah, so she better work hard. Later, Noah holds another party, and Alan congratulates him on the success of the exam. Noah, however, says that this party is actually to thank them for helping him, and he says that they should enjoy themselves. Noah explains that everyone here is a merchant, and they all have deep ties to the house of the 13th prince. Noah set all this up for him, so Alan promises to cultivate as many relationships as he can. Just then, Zoe reveals that Noah has been sent a message. There is nothing written on the envelope, and the guard at the door said that the person who delivered it just ran away. The girls get worried when Noah opens it, and even the Leviathan begins to react. Noah tells everyone to calm down, and he reads the letter. It reveals that there's some unsettling movements among the remnants of the Almerian rebels. Noah isn't sure about what this means, and the person who delivered the message has gone back to investigate undercover. Just then, Noah realizes that this must be the same person that risked his life to report to him. The guy eventually found out that Noah already knew about the rebellion, and Noah still rewarded him anyway. The girls determine that he must be doing this to repay that debt. The girls think it's an honorable thing to do, but Noah points out that it's actually really bad. Playing pretend spy when having no training is too dangerous, and the guy's life will be ended if he's found out. Henry should still be in the area, so Noah says that he will tell his brother to stop the guy. Unfortunately, a while later, Noah was informed of the terrible news. The soldier was discovered as a spy, and he was tortured. He refused to give any information, so his captors didn't show any mercy. Henry's soldiers were able to retrieve him, but he's still unconscious. Noah blames himself because if he realized all this sooner, he could have stopped the guy. Noah makes a decision, so he tells Zoe to relay a message for him. He wants everyone in Almeria to know that he will spare no expense to make sure that the guy is protected. Noah can only think about how incredibly loyal that guy is, and no amount of information is worth sacrificing someone like him. Afterwards, Noah searches for a gift to thank Henry for everything he did. Noah is shown several priceless items, and Shirley is stunned because she has never seen so many amazing treasures. Something catches Noah's eye because it doesn't feel the same as the other items. The merchant is very impressed because Noah was able to tell which item was the most valuable with just one look. The merchant reveals what's under the tarp, and Noah's amazed by what he sees. The merchant explains that it was left behind by an uncommonly skilled artisan, and her name is Lindsay. This is considered to be a lost art because there are only 2 goddess statues like this that still exist. Noah likes it a lot, so he offers to pay 10,000 ring for it. Noah's brother Oscar arrives, and he explains that he's in search of a fine treasure. He notices the glass goddess statue, and he can immediately tell that it was made by Lindsay. There are only 2 of these in existence, and Oscar reveals that he has the other one. Just then, Noah shocks everyone as he shatters the statue into a million pieces. Everyone thinks that he lost his mind, but Noah tells them not to worry. He still pays the merchant for it, and he reveals his true intentions. Noah says that the second statue was found, but it was just broken. This means that there's only one left in existence, and he tells the merchant to spread that rumor around town. Oscar is amazed because this will greatly raise the value of his goddess statue. Oscar says that he didn't reach this kind of wisdom until he was an adult, so it's very impressive that Noah was able to think of this immediately. Afterwards, Shirley points out that it's been nothing but surprises since she started serving him. Noah destroyed a treasure without even hesitating, and it was all to help his brother. Noah explains that that statue was only an object, and real treasures are nothing like that. The treasures Noah really cares about are the people who risk their lives to bring him information, the people who work their hardest to live up to his expectations, and those who swear loyalty to him. The objects of this world mean nothing to him because its people will always be the real treasures. Shirley's at a complete loss for words, and Noah says that this includes her. She's in awe of the young prince, so she vows to follow him for the rest of her life. 6 years later, we see that Noah has grown quite a bit as he prepares to leave his mansion. All the maids wish him luck, and Noah heads outside with his loyal companions. Noah is now 12 years old, and he wonders if something is bothering his new maid named Gigi. Gigi explains that she's just caught off guard by all the people outside. There's a line of people who have come to give birthday presents to Noah, and the line still hasn't ended after 3 whole days. This is actually pretty normal for the prince, and it even lasted an entire week last year. Noah can't just receive the gifts either, because the item received and its sender need to be recorded in detail. Noah is now 12 years old, and he has been recognized for fully mastering the Leviathan. Noah is now stationed at the Ministry of Military Affairs, which presides over the Imperial Army. Henry is the Minister of Military Affairs, and Noah goes to meet with him. Henry wants to hear Noah's opinion because the 4th prince named Rhys has received an imperial order. He's supposed to suppress a rebellion at the southern border by commanding an army and demonstrating how powerful the empire is. Noah's familiar with Rhys's many acts of valor, and he's sure that Rhys is talented enough to lead an army. Noah says that he only has one question, and he surprises Rhys when he asks how many soldiers he will actually be leading. Rhys is hesitant to answer, so Henry wonders if he's hiding something. Rhys trembles in fear, and he can only beg for forgiveness. Henry demands to know what's going on, so Noah explains it to him. Imperial forces receive funding based on how many soldiers are registered to fight. Because of this, it's pretty common for generals to register non-soldiers, such as merchants and collaborators, so they can keep the extra money for themselves. Henry is furious with Rhys, but Noah tells him to wait a moment. He instructs Rhys to stop cowering, and he explains that what he did wasn't all that bad. Registering a lot of soldiers, even if it's not true, can still serve as a deterrent. Henry agrees that saying you have an army of 100,000 soldiers could help suppress a rebellion, even if that number isn't true. Henry's once again impressed by Noah's understanding of these things, and it's clear why he's called the Wise Prince. Noah points out that this situation is a bit more complicated because the Emperor's order was for a sweeping victory. That's why Noah asked Rhys about the extent of his embellishment. Rhys reveals that he registered 2,000 more soldiers than he has, so Noah tells him to make sure that he actually brings that many. Noah gives him a letter that will ensure that Rhys receives payment, and he says that Rhys can even keep what's left. Rhys is stunned by this, but Noah says that in return, he won't tolerate defeat. As the brothers leave the meeting, Henry realizes that Noah hasn't experienced war yet. Noah confirms that he has never been to war, and he thinks about his current status. Even though he's 12 years old now, he's still at level 1. Still, Noah considers himself to be very lucky because many royal babies don't survive long after birth. Their lives are usually ended by those competing for more power. This means that a prince is a valuable living heir to the throne, so they're not permitted to go into battle when they are young. They have to wait until they have grown to adulthood unless they are given an imperial order. Henry points out that Noah's 12 now, so it would be a good idea to get some experience before ruling over his land. He reminds Noah that he has a magic sword, so he doubts he would have much difficulty. Noah isn't against going into battle, and he says that he wouldn't hesitate if the Emperor gave him the order. Just then a young girl trips in front of their carriage. Her and some other orphans are being chased by some people, and they're eventually caught. Noah tells the men to stop bothering the orphans, but the guy tells them to keep out of this. Noah simply demands for the guys to show him their registration papers because he wants to know what their business is. Noah points out that unregistered slave trading is a serious crime and they will be punished under imperial law. The guys call Noah a brat as they go to attack him, but this is a huge mistake. Noah summons the Leviathan and he wipes out all the thugs. All the bystanders are amazed because Noah handled himself like a real swordmaster. The orphans cry because they were going to be sold as slaves, and some strange guy comes out of an alley. He explains that he makes a living by selling orphans, but he's hesitant to tell Noah his name. Noah wonders why, so the guy reveals that it's because he works for First Prince Gilbert. Noah takes this very seriously because this guy is obviously threatening him by pointing out that he works for the First Prince. The guy says that he doesn't want to stir things up, so he tells Noah to just pretend that he never saw what happened here. Noah asks Henry if he knows this guy, but he says that he doesn't. Noah points out that neither he or his brother know him, so the guy says that it's by design. He begins to explain how he works in secret, but he quickly goes silent when Noah strikes fear into his heart. Noah's power is so overwhelming that the guy collapses to the ground. Noah goes right into damage control as he says that the guy was falsely claiming that he serves the First Prince. Just then, the bystanders quickly realize that Noah's the wise prince. He's the real deal, so they trust every word he says. Noah has the thugs taken away, and he tells his guards to take the orphans to his mansion. This situation was more than it seemed, so Henry says that Noah handled it perfectly. If those guys did work for Gilbert, then Noah couldn't end their lives. However, if he left them to their own devices, the people would think that he allowed underground slave trading to happen. The best course of action was to make them seem like liars and let Gilbert handle them himself. Henry is in awe of his brother because the way he handles things always surprises him. Later, Noah is informed that Gilbert sent a messenger. Gilbert wanted to thank Noah for catching the slave traders because after interrogating them, they found that they were falsely using Gilbert's name to run their business. Gilbert intended on sending them to court, but they ended up taking their own lives. Noah knows better, and he assumes that Gilbert did in fact order those men to run the underground slave trade. Henry confirms it, and explains that Gilbert has absorbed himself in acquiring shops and buying private estates. He has been doing a lot of senseless activities, but Noah says that he doesn't blame him. Gilbert is the first prince, but he's also the son of a concubine. This means that he can't take over the throne, so Noah determines that he's looking for something to take out his frustration. The slave trade and private estates are just proxies for this. Henry never ceases to be amazed by his deduction skills, but Noah says that anyone could see this with a bit of thought. Later, Noah tells the orphans that he pulled some strings so he can assure them that they will never be sold. They are free now, but they explain that they have nowhere to go. Noah declares that he will take them in, so he tells Dylan to find jobs for them. He also wants them to have a place to sleep, and he wants them to be taught if any of them want to study. The orphans think that Noah's going to buy them, but he says that that is not it. They are free to do whatever they want, and the only thing that Noah won't tolerate is betrayal. Dylan tells them that Noah's doing something kind for them, so they all thank our hero. The next day, Noah tells Evelyn that she will no longer be a maid. Instead, he wants her to be an administrator of a small region within Almeria. This means that she is now a government official, and she's caught off guard because this is a major promotion for a maid. The land Noah received from the Emperor is huge, and it would be impossible for him to rule over it all by himself. Because of this, Noah has assigned administrators to various regions to act as his proxies. Noah explains that he's been watching Evelyn for many years, and she's the most clever of his maids. Evelyn says that she would rather keep working as his maid, but Noah doesn't want to waste her talents. He explains that she will be able to do more for him as an administrator, and her success will make it known to everyone that he's an excellent judge of people. Evelyn thanks Noah for this opportunity, and she sets off to start her new job. Shirley compliments Noah for handling people so well, and she says it's nothing like how the first prince does it. Noah stops her and reminds her that she can't be saying such things. Later, the Emperor reveals that he heard about how Noah defended Gilbert's honor. Noah says that it was simply coincidental because he was stopping people from breaking the law. Deep down, Noah thinks about how smart it was for Gilbert to report this himself. Instead of keeping it a secret, he made it appear as if his hands were clean. The king also heard that Noah defended himself pretty well, but he says that it's to be expected of Noah. The emperor makes a joke by saying that if it were him, he probably would have been undercover, and he wouldn't have handled the situation so well. He says that instead of defending himself, he probably would have been defeated while debating whether or not to reveal his identity. Everyone in the room has a good laugh at this amazing joke, and the king is told that hurting the emperor is a crime punishable by death. Everyone laughs at this great joke as well, but Noah's dead serious. He corrects the prime minister by pointing out that under imperial law, if the criminal doesn't know the emperor's identity, then there's no crime against the imperial family. The room instantly gets quiet, and everyone is horrified by Noah's response. Noah fears that he might have gone too far because what is considered rude to say to an emperor is a delicate matter. He wonders if he shouldn't have pointed out the mistake, especially when it made him look bad. Noah grows tense as he waits to see the emperor's response, and everyone is shocked as the emperor simply laughs. He says that he won a bet, but Noah has no clue what he's talking about. It turns out that the emperor had a bet with the prime minister. It was a test to see whether or not Noah could describe the law from heart. He has always known that Noah was strict and impartial when it comes to matters of the law. He just wanted to have a test to make sure of that. Noah passed without leaving any doubt, so the emperor announces that Noah will now be appointed as the Prime Minister of Justice. This is an incredible honor, and it makes Noah the second minister prince after the fourth prince. Noah is completely stunned, and everyone cheers for the new minister prince of justice. Later, Noah thinks about how he just answered the same way he always does. He received a great honor for doing so, but he can't help but wonder if there's something else behind the decision. As Alici performs, the audience talks about how she has become the most popular singer in the empire. Her singing reminds Noah not to be worried all the time, and he's finally able to enjoy his accomplishment. Back at the castle, the king is told that a report they were wondering about turned out to be true. He tells the prime minister to handle it, and he laments how they have run out of time. A while later, Noah arrives at the Ministry of Justice. A guy named Vinny introduces himself, and he explains that he's the Vice Minister of Justice. Noah realizes that this guy will be his right-hand man. Vinny looks pretty young, so Noah is sure that he's still rising the ranks. Noah asks for a simple explanation of what his duties are, so Vinny says that Noah has two primary duties. First is the coordination of all courthouses across the entire empire. Secondly, their ministry tries many cases that occur in the capital. It's customary for the ministry or the emperor himself to judge those who commit serious crimes. In other words, the ministry also functions as a common courthouse. Noah assumes that Vinny tries some cases himself as well, so he wonders how much Vinny receives in bribes. Vinny's shocked by the question, and he says that he would never do such a thing. Noah assures him that he isn't trying to force him into admitting guilt, he just wants to know the real story. He wants Vinny to feel like he's free to speak, so he says that he will forget whatever he tells him as soon as he leaves this room. Vinny understands, so he reveals everything. He explains that he doesn't accept many bribes personally, but the ones he does accept add up to about a few hundred reen a year. Vinny goes on to say that he has a rule for himself that doesn't allow him to accept any more. Those beneath him accept at least 10 times as much as he does. Vinny's rule is that he doesn't accept any bribes in cases of murder. It's too risky because if the accuser bears a grudge, Vinny could become a target for revenge. He only accepts bribes in cases that could easily go in either direction. Noah writes a number down on a piece of paper, and Vinny is shocked by what it means. Noah explains that he will give Vinny 10 times what he used to receive in bribes, so he will never accept another one while he's working for him. This is 5,000 reen a year, so Vinny's in disbelief. Noah says that he wants to live up to the emperor's expectations, and he wants Vinny to help him. Vinny's amazed by Noah's decision-making, and it makes sense why the emperor gave him the title of the Wise Prince. Vinny says that he doesn't need the extra money, and he will simply stop accepting bribes. The honor of working with Noah is enough for him, so he asks if he could serve Noah from this day forward. Noah thinks that he should be suspicious of Vinny having ulterior motives, but he notices that accepting him into his group is already giving a boost to his stats. His strength and intelligence have both received +E's, so Noah tells Vinny that he will be counting on him. Later, Noah attends a celebration that Oscar arranged for him. Oscar explains that the celebration is called for because after their brother Henry, Noah's the second minister prince in all of the emperor's 50 years reign. Noah can only wonder why the emperor made this decision, and Oscar is sure that it's because the emperor is really proud of him. Noah isn't so sure because he doesn't think he has earned it. It makes sense for Henry because he suppressed the rebellion, but Noah knows that he doesn't have that kind of record. Noah determines that the emperor must be showing him some favoritism. This makes Noah think about how the empire nearly collapsed at one point. It happened because of the empire's system of choosing a crown prince to rule. Because the emperor's successors determined at birth, the princes who were not the crown prince idled their lives away, and this caused a lot of problems. To correct this, the empire now grants every prince his own land to rule over, and ensures they get a proper education. Oscar wonders what this has to do with the celebration, so Noah explains that he has a theory. He says that appointing him the minister goes far beyond a simple education, and Oscar is stunned by what he means. Oscar's shock gets everyone's attention, and he realizes that Noah thinks that the emperor wants to make him the crown prince. Just then, Oscar is told about a report he asked for earlier. He's paying someone to act as a spy, so he has learned that the emperor intends to name him Minister Prince of Finance. The emperor seems to be planning something, but Noah hasn't figured out what. Oscar says that they shouldn't overthink this stuff because they're here to celebrate Noah's accomplishment. Elsewhere, a group of soldiers storm a building in the middle of the night. The emperor is told that 167 men were arrested during their raid. These men were planning to pressure the emperor into stepping down from the throne so the Crown Prince Albert could take over. The emperor is really disappointed because it's clear that Albert was the one behind this. Albert has been crown prince for 30 years, and it seems like he can't wait any longer. Noise Hill points out that there's no evidence of Gilbert being involved, so the emperor says that he isn't planning on doing anything to the crown prince. Instead, he will just punish the 167 men, and their leader named Keats will be executed. The emperor then thinks about how all his sons are no good. He can only wonder which one of them is worthy of succeeding him, and he can't decide. He declares that any of them will do as long as they can overcome his trial. Later, Noah is informed about the 167 men that were arrested for an attempted insurrection. Of course, Noah is disappointed because all of these men are people close to Albert. Among them are Albert's confidant, his former tutor, and several of his knights. It's pretty obvious that Albert is involved, so Vinny wonders what Noah will do. Noah thinks about how under imperial law, if one of the imperial family commits a crime, there are provisions that ensure that their penalty is light. The only exception to this rule is if that crime is insurrection. Any member of the imperial family who's involved in an insurrection is to be cut in half at the waist. They face the same fate even if they just knew about it and failed to report it to the emperor. There is no way Albert didn't know about this because so many of his people were involved. Albert should be punished for his crime, but it would be a massive scandal that would shake the very foundation of the empire. Noah wonders what the emperor has said, so Vinny explains that the emperor said to punish those that are involved in accordance with the law. Noah now understands the emperor's intentions, so he declares that he's ready to pass judgment. Noah meets with the emperor and explains that he has decided how to sentence the insurgents. The leader who was arrested will be cut in half at the waist, and his accomplices will have their lives ended as well. Noah determined earlier that since the emperor limited the punishment to those that were arrested, he has no intention of bringing Albert into this. The emperor is pleased with Noah's work, so he tells crews to add 1,000 rein to Noah's annual salary. Noah knows that what he did was not worthy of a reward, so it means that the emperor really didn't want to get Albert involved. The emperor tells Noah that his hopes for him remain high, so he should continue to work hard. As Noah returns to the ministry, he's shocked to find that his guards have been injured. He's told that the intruders are still inside, so Noah tells Shirley to send for reinforcements. Noah tells her to contact Albert at the Ministry of Military Affairs, but he quickly stops himself. The timing of this attack doesn't seem like a coincidence, and Noah fears that Albert might be involved. He cancels his order and tells Shirley to gather their allies. No one will be allowed in or out of the mansion, and that includes all of his brothers. Noah rushes inside, and he sees that several of the guards and officials have been attacked. He encounters one of the intruders, and Noah easily takes him out. The intruder tries to end his own life by biting down on his tongue, but Noah stops him with the power from his ring. Several other intruders arrive to attack our hero, but Noah's ready for the fight. He takes them all out and makes sure that they can't end their own lives either. Vinny shows up, and he's amazed to see that Noah defeated the intruders by himself. He explains that the guards suffered many casualties, and all the insurgents were eliminated. Noah is shocked because the intruders' goal was to silence the insurgents. This makes it more clear than ever that these intruders are working for Albert. Just then, Vinny's shocked as Noah uses his own sword to cut himself. Noah's in a great deal of pain, and he tells Vinny that if anyone asks, the intruders were the ones that injured him. The heaviest punishment for severely wounding a prince is execution, and by a quick judgment. This is exactly what Noah wants, so he orders for Vinny to begin the process. During his recovery, Noah's told that the executions have been carried out. Noah's relieved because now he can put the entire situation behind him. Vinny realizes what Noah did, and he can't help but be amazed. Noah knew that the truth about Albert would have been exposed if the intruders were interrogated, so he had to act fast. He injured himself to speed up their punishment, so no one could ever know. If the truth ever came out, the entire empire would have suffered, so Noah can only curse the crown prince. Later, the emperor summons Noah to the castle. Noah apologizes for failing, but the emperor says that he's not solely to blame. He also knows how strong of a fighter Noah is, so he wonders if the intruders were really powerful enough to injure him so badly. Noah figured that the emperor would be suspicious of this, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to hide the truth. The emperor has a huge intelligence network, so he probably already knows that Noah injured himself. Noah explains that there's more to strength than just how someone handles a sword. He says that a person can still falter if his mental fragility is taken advantage of. The emperor is really proud of Noah's intelligence, and he says that he's a son that he would proud to present to everyone. He wishes that all his sons were more like Noah, and he takes Noah outside. He tells Noah that among emperors who came to be known as great leaders, 9 out of 10 tarnished their reputation later in life. Noah thinks about how his father led this nation into a golden age like no one has ever seen. Because of this, he will definitely be described as a great leader in all the history books. However, if the recent insurrection had been successful, it would have tarnished his legacy. They would say that he grew senile in his old age, and he couldn't even control his sons. It's obvious to Noah that the emperor no longer trusts the crown prince. The only reason he isn't doing anything about it is because forsaking the crown prince would tarnish his own reputation. Just then, Noah says that he has a request. He points out that the emperor has made him, Henry, and Oscar minister princes, and that could cause some problems. Because of this, Noah thinks that someone should be appointed to coordinate all of them. The emperor wonders if he's talking about the first prime minister, but Noah has a different idea. This person would bring order to all that they do, so Noah's proposing the establishment of a new role known as the prime minister prince. Noah says that this role should go to the crown prince, but the emperor refuses. This upsets him, so he tells Noah to leave so he can recover from his injury. Noah stops him though and continues to explain. He points out that Albert is getting impatient as the crown prince, and it's causing a lot of problems. Giving him this role would allow him to feel like he has more power, and the emperor would still get the final say in all decisions. The emperor fears that Albert might dismiss something important before it even gets to him, but Noah has a plan for this as well. Each minister prince will have the right to file a direct appeal if they think it's important enough. If all 3 of them agree, they can bypass the prime minister and appeal directly to the emperor. This will prevent Albert from holding any actual power, but he will still feel important because of the title. The emperor is once again amazed by Noah, and he agrees that it would be the best course of action. He pats Noah on the head and again wishes that he were born sooner. Noah is just as impressed by the emperor because he understood his proposal immediately. The emperor wants to reward Noah again, but this time he says that money won't be enough. Instead, he calls Cruz and tells him that they will be going to the vault. The emperor takes Noah, and Noah says that he's never seen this place before. The emperor points out that it was by Noah's own judgment that he discovered that special ring of his. He would like to see that judgment in action, so he tells Noah to choose any item he likes from the vault. Noah thanks the emperor, and he tells the Leviathan to search the entire room. Noah spots something of interest, and the Emperor is stunned by what he chose. Noah opens a small box, and he's consumed by a powerful flame. The flame completely covers Noah, but he's still okay. This feels just like the Leviathan, so Noah's surprised that there were more like it. This flame attacks Noah, but he defends himself with the Leviathan. It's clear that this being has a will of its own, so that only leaves Noah with one option. Noah commands for it to obey him, and he unleashes the power of his sword. Noah defeats the weapon and gains control of its powers. It takes the form of a ring, and Noah sees that having it under his command raises his fire stat to F plus C rank. The Emperor is absolutely stunned because Noah was actually able to tame the weapon. The ring is called Luthier, and the Emperor says that Noah's judgment is incredible. He gave Noah the option to pick any item in the entire vault, and he chose the strongest one without hesitation. Noah just did what felt right, and he can tell that Luthier possesses a great amount of power. The Emperor wonders if Noah would like to test it, and he even offers to have some targets set up. Noah declines, and the Emperor can tell that he has some sort of plan, just like he always does. Noah takes his father outside the castle walls, and he unleashes the power of Luthier. The Emperor is worried at first, but he calms down when he sees that Noah is in complete control. It's just as Noah predicted, because Luthier is almost as powerful as a Leviathan. The Emperor wonders how Noah can withstand such incredible heat, so Noah demonstrates how quickly he has learned its power by explaining what's going on. The heat is so powerful that it's destroying everything around it, and the ground itself is beginning to crater. However, Noah says that the Leviathan's keeping it in check to prevent the heat from escaping. Of course, the Emperor is in disbelief because Noah tamed it to this point in such a short amount of time. He's almost speechless, and he determines that his only choice is to entrust Luthier to Noah. He tells Noah to use it for the good of the Empire, so Noah says that he will. Sometime later, the Emperor reveals some bad news about his nephew. It's his brother's son, and he has always ruled his land with extreme tyranny. He often causes a lot of trouble for the imperial family, but this time he went too far. In his drunken stupor, he took someone's life during an argument. That alone is a serious crime, but the punishment won't be so straightforward. The Emperor's brother named Graham is taking responsibility for his son's crime, and he says that he will pay a fee as punishment. Of course, Noah points out that just like a child is not responsible for paying their parents' debt, a parent is not responsible for a child's crime. Graham is offering to pay 30,000 reen, which is about 250 times the average yearly income. It's a significant amount, but Noah says that they can't collect a fine from someone who has not committed a crime. The Emperor wonders if they should change the law to allow voluntary fees because the national treasury is in bad shape. Disaster relief and suppression of revolts cost quite a bit of money, and they're spending a lot. Noah can't blame his father for thinking this way, but this can't be done. If they were to set such a precedent, people would think that they can get away with committing any crime by paying money. This would make the prevention of crime more difficult, not to mention the fact that it would only help the wealthy. People would take advantage of it, and it would lead to mass corruption. Noah acknowledges that the Empire's lack of funds is a grave problem, but he says that they should solve it in a respectable way. The Emperor thanks Noah for pushing back on his suggestion, and he credits our young hero's great wisdom. To celebrate this wisdom that is rarely seen in a ruler, the Emperor names Noah his premier advisor. The Emperor wonders if something is wrong after Noah goes silent, and Noah reveals that he has a proposal. Instead of letting people pay to escape punishment, they should let people pay to obtain honor. As an example, Noah says that anyone who donates 1,000 reen to the Empire can be granted honorary knighthood. Of course, they would need rules so people can't abuse it to gain real power, but Noah is sure that it will work. People love being granted such an honor by the Emperor, and they would be willing to pay. Noah thinks about how when people earn lots of money, they begin to desire honor over physical possessions. The Emperor says that this is a brilliant idea, and he tells Cruz to go get Oscar. Noah says that he must leave to finish business at the Ministry of Law, but deep down he has a different reason. Noah tells himself that he must stop because he's impressing the Emperor far too much. If he keeps going, then he will start intruding on Oscar's job. Outside, a guy named Shizu says that several mages are astounded by what Noah did earlier. They can't comprehend how the ground could simply melt away like that, and they haven't been able to figure it out. Someone even fell into the hole while inspecting it, so Noah gives Shizu some money to pay for the guy's medical bills. Shizu then reveals that he has brought something for the 16th prince. The 16th prince is only 3 years old, but he likes to make beetles fight each other. This gives Noah an idea, so he wonders if Luthier and the Leviathan would like to fight against each other. The two of them are up to the task, so they begin to fight as Noah watches. Noah's astounded because they have all the techniques of their past owners engraved inside them. The Leviathan wins the battle, and Noah says that the difference in their strength is clear. A maid can't believe it when she sees the fighting, so Noah says that they're ready for round 2. As they battle, Noah notices something else. Unlike his faithful Leviathan, Luthier is very competitive. Noah's learning so much just by watching them, and he is sure that learning this way will make him much stronger. His status screen proves this, as he finally reaches level 2. Noah keeps making them fight, and he says that the Leviathan has won every battle so far. However, after some time, Luthier manages to win a match. After Luthier's win, Noah notices that his own fire stat has gone up even more. Noah becomes curious, so he tells Zoe to do something. In the 6 years since he hired her, Zoe has learned many skills to repay the debt she feels she owes him. One of those skills is showing a person's status screen. Zoe is stunned because Noah's already level 3. She can't believe it because Noah didn't have to do any fighting, and she has never heard of anything like this. Noah did it by just watching his weapons fight, and she wonders if his level can go up like this forever. Noah isn't sure, but he says that it wasn't so simple. Raising it from level 1 to 2 only took one battle, but to go from 2 to 3, he had to make them fight over 10 times. Fighting the same opponent over and over again doesn't seem to be very efficient, but Noah doesn't know all the rules. He wants to learn how it works, so he says that he will have to collect more magic items like Luthier and the Leviathan. Just then Henry arrives and reveals that he saw Noah making his items battle each other. He praises Noah's inventiveness, but there are more pressing matters. He reveals that a certain monster's nest has finally matured, which means that it's time for Noah's first campaign. The monster nest is a hunting ground managed by the Ministry of Military Affairs. Its purpose is simply to serve as every prince's first campaign. Henry says that when Noah opens the box in front of him, it will give him a reading of how many soldiers he should take on the campaign. Noah opens the box, but Henry's jaw nearly drops to the ground when the number is revealed. It shows the number 1, so Noah wonders if this means that he alone will be sufficient. Henry says that this is unprecedented and it's never happened before. Later, a guy named Reyes brings an order from the Emperor. A messenger of the Emperor is considered his proxy, so Noah bows down to him. It's a prestigious role, so Noah must show him the same courtesy as he would the Emperor. Noah is told that his first campaign will be postponed, and he must stand by until he receives further orders. Noah accepts it, and Reyes bows down to him. These two are familiar with each other because Reyes is a part of Henry's household. Sometimes members of the royal family sends one of their slaves or servants away to serve as officials. People like them are considered members of that noble's family who have been discharged from their service. The imperial household members who work in service to each prince have the strictest etiquette standards imposed on them. Reyes reveals to Noah that his campaign has been postponed entirely because of his strength. The Emperor was so delighted by the unprecedented reading that he said it should be carried out on a grand scale. He's working with Noah's brothers to come up with a way to share how remarkable Noah is to the whole empire. Noah realizes that this will take some time, so he goes in search of more magic items. Noah returns to the merchant that gave him his other ring, and he explains that he's in search of items that have a will of their own. The merchant says that he doesn't have anything like that, but Noah already knew that. He gives the guy a bunch of money and tells him to contact him if anything comes up. Outside, Noah sees that a crowd has gathered as a man demands for an item to be sold to him. The merchant tries to explain that someone already reserved the item, but the guy doesn't care. Noah tells the guy to stop, and the guy introduces himself as a member of Prince Gilbert's household. His name is Dahlem, and Noah wonders why he was interrogating the merchant. Dahlem reminds Noah that he can't get in trouble because members of an imperial household can't be found guilty of any crimes other than insurrection. He tells Noah he can't do anything to him, and Noah knows that he's right. Servants of an imperial household already have a high status, but this guy's even a member of the first prince's household. Noah acknowledges this, but he points out that there's one flaw. He wonders why Dahlem is standing in front of him because he should be bowing. Dahlem is caught off guard because this is a punishable offense, so he tries to apologize. Noah says it's too late though, and he instructs Shirley to apprehend him. Shirley takes him down, and Dalam tries to say that Noah will pay for this. Noah's insulted as he explains to him that he tarnished his brother's name by not showing respect to a prince. He says that Dalam will be punished under imperial law, and he asks if anyone in the crowd has a whip. Dalam is tied up, and Noah wonders how many lashes he should receive. Noah says that if any of his servants tyrannized his people under his name, he would sentence them to death. Dalam is horrified, and Noah tells Shirley to handle the rest. Noah then walks away as Dalam receives his punishment. Later, Shirley says that the job is done and Dalam's life was ended. Noah tells Shirley that when the authorities arrive, she's to report everything he said earlier. Shirley's then surprised when Noah tells her to get some handcuffs. Noah handcuffs himself and goes to apologize to Gilbert. Noah explains what happened, and Gilbert agrees that there was no other way to handle the situation with his servant. Noah still apologizes because he didn't consult with Gilbert first. Gilbert hardly remembers Dalam, so his butler has to remind him that he fired that guy a year ago. Gilbert tells Noah not to worry because if anything, he protected his reputation. Noah stopped Dalam from harming his name further, so Gilbert can see why the emperor named Noah the keeper of the law. Afterwards, Shirley wonders what all the theatrics were about because Gilbert didn't even seem to care about Dalam. Noah reveals that despite how calm Gilbert acted, he was actually furious. The only reason he couldn't show it is because he can't afford to create a rift between them. This is because it's obvious to everyone that the emperor favors Noah over Gilbert. Noah knew that he had to apologize first so that everything could stay calm. If Noah didn't say anything, he would have become a target of his brother. Later, a guy named Don introduces himself to Noah. Don was impressed by how Noah handled the situation the day before, so he wants to work for him. Noah points out that he might find it difficult because he's from a different jurisdiction, but Don doesn't care. He says that Noah can just use his services whenever he needs, so Noah agrees. As Don leaves though, Noah tells Dylan to do some research on him. A while later, Dylan returns with a report on the guy that recently entered Noah's service. His name is Don, and he's cleverly hiding the fact that he and his parents are employees of the first prince. The households of nobles are managed very strictly. In the interest of preserving confidentiality, there are limits on who employees can interact with. This leads to them marrying other employees per their master's recommendation. Children born to such marriages also swear their loyalty to the master. Dylan assumes that Don was sent here by the first prince to act as a spy. Noah instructs Dylan not to tell anyone because now that he knows Don's a spy, he might be able to use him. Dylan is amazed by Noah because he was already suspicious of Don. Dylan credits Noah's incredible insight, but that wasn't it. It turns out that Noah's stats didn't increase at all when Don pledged his loyalty, and that made it obvious that he was lying. Just then, Dylan says that the merchant has requested to see Noah. He has found the treasure Noah's looking for, so Noah has him come to the mansion. This treasure ends up being a painting known as Huwawa. It's the work of a renowned artist, but it's no ordinary painting. The Leviathan reacts immediately, so Noah wonders if the painting is cursed. The merchant is amazed by Noah's intuition, and he tells Noah to watch closely. He brings in another painting and explains that it's a replica that was made around the same time Huwawa was painted. Noah notices immediately that it's the same girl on both paintings, but the girl in the original is much older. This means that it's a cursed painting that matures over time. Through the Leviathan, Noah can tell that the original is giving off a strange aura. Noah then shocks the merchant as he attacks the painting. Surprisingly, no damage is done, and the painting begins to glow. The girl begins to emerge from it, and the merchant has no clue what he's seeing. His disbelief only increases as the girl completely comes out of the painting and floats before them. The girl makes one noise, and the merchant is stunned to see that Noah can understand what she's saying. The girl just told him that this art piece was painted with her blood. Its painter ended her life while she was still a child and mixed her blood into the paint. The girl wants to pay Noah back for freeing her, so Noah says that she can do so by swearing loyalty to him. The girl agrees, and she begins to giggle as she enters and leaves the painting. Noah realizes that using the Leviathan to cut her bonds with the painting made it possible for her to enter and leave her vessel at will. Noah looks at his stats and sees that his earth magic gained a slight plus. Huwawa wants to do something, so Noah tells her to give it a try. She then shocks the already surprised merchant by becoming a clone of him. Huwawa told Noah that she can do a lot more than this, so Noah gives a demonstration. He touches Huwawa with one of his rings, and this causes her to glow. He instructs the merchant to hold her hands, and the merchant is shocked by what happens next. His left hand is able to touch her, but his right hand passes right through. Noah explains that she can make her entire body take a physical form, but he's just doing a test right now. The merchant can't believe his eyes, because Huwawa made a perfect clone of him after just seeing him for a few minutes. Noah then thinks about how her physical form is thanks to her link with his armor ring. She has an incredible ability, and this can definitely be called transformation magic. Noah thanks the merchant for finding this treasure, and he says that he will pay whatever he wants. He also instructs him to continue searching for more, and the merchant thanks him back. Later, Alan visits Noah, and Noah wonders what all this stuff is that he brought. Alan explains that he has good news about the girl he sent to the palace as a servant. Her name is Ada, and she has officially been accepted as one of the Emperor's attendants. This is exactly what Alan was hoping for, so he brought Noah a gift for making it all happen. Noah advised Alan to choose a girl 6 years ago, and she has risen to the level of attendant. Noah looks at everything Alan brought, and he can tell that it's worth 30,000 reen. Alan is very pleased with Ada's progress, and he predicts that she will eventually achieve the status of wife. Noah then thinks about how consorts like Ada are divided into 4 ranks. First are attendants, then concubines, and above them are wives. Standing above all of them as the Emperor's legal wife is the Empress. They rise in the ranks based on how much the Emperor favors them and how high their sons rank. Noah's mother reached the rank of wife when the Emperor granted Noah his wise title. Noah points out that there can only be one Empress, and Alan says that he will pray for Ada to earn more and more of the Emperor's favor. Noah explains that earning the Emperor's favor is the fastest way to get to the top, but a lot of it is also politics among the consorts. If Ada doesn't get along with the other girls, they could try to sabotage her. As an example, Noah wonders what would happen if another girl switched Ada's perfume with a scent that the Emperor doesn't like. Consorts can be really cutthroat, and the inner palace is even more of a den of demons than the world men live in. Noah is sure that Alan knows what to do from here, so he tells him to send Ada some money. Noah then instructs Zoe to give his mother a letter, along with 10,000 reen. Zoe wonders if Dylan would be a better messenger, but Noah reminds her that men are forbidden to enter the inner palace where his mother is. Princes are taken from their mothers soon after they are born, and Noah only gets to see his mother once a year. Noah also has a message, and he wants his mother to know that he considers himself Ada's guardian. Zoe is surprised because he's going to use his mother for politics. Noah explains to her that this is just how the royal family works. Even between parent and child, profit and status take a priority over emotion. If Ada rises the ranks, she could be a good ally to his mother. Noah wonders how Zoe's mother is doing, and she explains that her mother is forever grateful to Noah. He gave her a home in the capital, and he even gave her a job. Something did bother her earlier, but she said that it must have been her imagination. Noah doesn't want to brush it off, so he has Zoe explain. Part of her mother's job is to open and close the gate every morning and night. However, yesterday she heard a sound at night, and she went to investigate. She found a mysterious person looking around that ran away when she confronted them. She was unable to see them, but she suspects that there may be someone sneaking in and out at night. Noah thanks Zoe for the information, and he tells her to tell her mother not to say anything to anyone about this. That night, Zoe's mother closes the gate as usual, but she is attacked. Her life is ended, and we see that it's Dawn. He says that today was not her day, and he makes his leave. Luckily, Noah saw this coming, and he came up with a plan. Zoe's real mother is still alive, and it's all thanks to Noah. Noah predicted that Dawn would try to silence her after she saw him leave the mansion. Because of this, Noah had Huwawa make a clone of Zoe's mother. Noah doesn't want Dawn to get suspicious, so he tells Zoe to go back to Doso. He wants Dawn to think that he eliminated Zoe's mother, so he tells Zoe to go back and pick a place to bury her. This is all to protect them, so he says that he will send for her when this is all over. The girls are very grateful, and they thank our hero. Zoe wonders if it's really okay to let Dawn get away with this, but Noah has it all figured out. He says that Huwawa is watching him, and Zoe calls Noah amazing as always. Later, Don wakes up and he wonders where he is. He's in a great deal of pain, so Noah tells him to take it easy because he nearly lost his life. Don doesn't even remember what happened, so Noah explains it to him. After Don reported that he eliminated the woman who saw him, he was betrayed. He got stabbed by the person he was reporting to, which meant he failed in his role as a spy. They no longer had a need for him, so he was disposed of. Noah explains that he expected all this to happen, which is why he was watching him. Don is in disbelief because Noah predicted every single thing up to the point where he was stabbed. He's in awe of Noah's keen insight, and he can see why he's called the Wise Prince. Don wishes that he was employed by Noah before he became a spy, and Noah says that it's not too late. Don can't believe what he's hearing, and Noah says that things could end up much differently for Don if he actually works for him. However, in return, Noah says that he will punish betrayal even more harshly than they did. Once Don swears his true loyalty to Noah, his life will belong to him. However, that also means that Noah won't cast him out. Don gets emotional, and he thanks Noah for giving him a second chance at life. Noah's win stat gains a +F, which means that this time Don really did swear his loyalty to him. Noah will have to give him a new name and status, so he says that Don will now be the son of a ruined noble. He then says that he will find a place in Almeria where Don can serve as the local governor. Don thanks him again and reveals that there's something he needs to tell him. Gilbert, who is now his former master, gave the emperor a gift. It's not something good, and Noah's horrified by what it really is. Noah urgently goes to speak with the emperor, and the emperor wonders what has him so panicked. Noah doesn't waste any time, and he tells him that he must stop drinking the wine of Poinix. It's the wine that Gilbert makes in his territory, and he has begun offering it to the palace just this year. Noah points out that it's a delicious wine, but if taken with a certain food, it becomes a terrible poison. The emperor wonders what food that is, so Noah explains that it's a food known as the dragon's claw. It's a food that the emperor and the crown prince eat once a year in a ritual honoring their ancestors. Noah then explains just how devious this plan is. It's already been an entire year since the emperor received the wine, and he has been drinking it all the time. So when the time comes, no one will suspect that the wine was the cause when he ends up getting poisoned. This will give the person behind it all the perfect alibi to get away with the crime. Noah is sure of this because there was an experiment conducted to be sure. A death row inmate was given the dragon's claw and the wine, and he was told that he would be set free if he could survive after consuming both. The result was immediate, and he lost his life. The emperor is in disbelief because this means that if he and Albert carry out the ritual as usual, they will both lose their lives. Noah is sure of it, so the emperor praises his son once again. He has done well to expose this plot, so the emperor tells Cruz to summon Henry. He wants soldiers to be sent to the first prince's mansion so they can launch an investigation. The emperor says that Noah can leave and he will be sent his reward later. That night, the force that marched on the first prince's mansion found proof through a butler's testimony that experiments were being conducted to test poisons on illegally traded slaves. Gilbert's plan to seize the empire after eliminating the emperor and the crown prince was stopped. Noah just saved the emperor's life, but he can't help but feel that something isn't right. The emperor has always had his eyes and ears everywhere until now. He proved time and time again that he knew about everything. Noah can only wonder why the emperor didn't know this time, and he is shocked when he realizes what's really going on. The emperor can tell that he knows, so he says that Noah truly is clever. The emperor knew about the poison, and he even stopped drinking the wine a long time ago. He has been the emperor for a really long time, so he knows that there are those that can't wait to take his place. Noah is clearly not one of them, so the emperor appoints him as vice minister of military affairs. Noah is shocked, but the emperor isn't done. Besides continuing his work as Minister of Law, Noah will also be named Governor General of the First Army, also known as the Imperial Guard. Noah thanks the emperor, but he can only wonder what this all means. The emperor does not intend to go down without a fight, because if his sons eliminate him, he will be a laughingstock for generations. However, if his life does come to an end at the hands of one of his sons, he wants Noah to seize the capital with the Imperial Guard and choose a suitable replacement. Noah is absolutely stunned because he wants him to choose the right person to be the next emperor. Later, Noah tells the emperor that Gilbert's mansion has been searched. They found documents connected to the plot to eliminate the Emperor in hidden rooms. This is concrete evidence, so Albert II Prince condemns his brother. Noah says that premeditated murder of the Emperor is undeniably treason. Under imperial law, there's no choice but to cut Gilbert in half at the waist. However, this case could also be considered attempted murder. Gilbert wouldn't be exempted from being cut in half, but he would still be granted the minimum stay of execution. His sentence would only be carried out when the Emperor orders it. Albert doesn't see the difference, but the Emperor says that Noah has yet again proven his wisdom. As always, Noah has considered the situation from both legal and emotional perspectives. Noah thinks about how Gilbert is still the Emperor's son. Noah gave an option of a life sentence because he considered the fact that the Emperor might love his son too much to execute him. Albert doesn't see the need to hesitate because anyone who tries to eliminate the Emperor should be dealt with immediately. The Emperor decides to leave the execution in Albert's hands, and he tells him to go. The Emperor then commends Noah for giving him the extra option. Noah always takes every scenario into consideration, and the Emperor is very impressed. Because of this, he would like to transfer ownership of Gilbert's territory over to Noah. He is shocked though when Noah says that he can't do that. Noah told the Emperor about Gilbert's plan confidentially. If Noah were to receive Gilbert's territory, the other princes would start making all kinds of reports anonymously to sabotage each other in the hopes of earning the same reward. The Emperor explains that he already knows this, which is why he only said that he wanted to do it. He doesn't want his sons sabotaging each other, so he won't reward Noah this time. Instead, he tells Noah what needs to happen next. Noah will soon be taking control of his own territory, so he needs to start thinking about who will be his wife. Engagement by age 12 is not unusual in the imperial family. A prince's first wife will be his legal one, and she is normally chosen for political reasons. As such, she must have a standing befitting of the role. For that reason, the prince himself has no say in who he marries. The Emperor suggests the granddaughter of the man, known as the Lightning Prince. According to divination, Noah and this girl will have a very clever child. Noah accepts his father's decision and says that nothing would make him happier than to take someone so remarkable as his wife. It's settled, so the Emperor says that he will begin preparations for Noah's marriage. Noishill is impressed by Noah because he accepted the Emperor's decision without even knowing the girl's name. The Emperor points out that it's just part of being a prince, but Noishill says that it's natural for a young man to take an interest in his future wife. The Emperor has very high expectations because there's a chance that Noah's child could surpass him as the greatest emperor. Noah has all the potential in the world right now, and great things will come if he passes it down to his child. Later, Don is ready to receive his punishment for betraying Gilbert. Noah tells him that it won't be necessary because imperial law says that an indicted man who exposes treason is to be acquitted. Noah explains that he only brought Don here for two reasons. The first is to tell him that Gilbert has been executed and all power he possessed has collapsed. Because of this, there's no longer a need to change Don's name and have him leave the capital. Secondly, exposing treason is worth a reward of 1,000 reen. Noah's more gracious than that, so he says that he will add another 0 out of his own pocket. Don can only wonder why he's giving him so much, so Noah explains that it's because he saved his father's life. Noah says that he's free to do whatever he wants, and Don is so grateful that he vows to serve Noah for the rest of his life. Noah then speaks with Zoe and tells her that her mother is no longer in danger. A while later, Gigi points out that something interesting is happening nearby. A girl is asking a crowd if anyone else would like to challenge her to a fight. The entry fee is 3 reen, and if they win, the girl says that she will become the winner's wife. If they already have a wife, then she will be their mistress, their servant, or whatever they want her to be. The only rule is that the fights have to be one-on-one. One guy tries to fight her, but the girl easily takes him out. She then takes his entry fee, and she leaves everyone in amazement. Several more challengers step forward, but the girl beats every single one of them. Gigi can't believe her eyes, because this girl just defeated 15 challengers in a row. The girl wonders who wants to try next, but everyone is terrified. One guy steps up and says that he won't pay the entrance fee because he's going to win. The girl prepares to block his attack, but something isn't right. She isn't able to defend herself for some reason, and she takes a direct hit. The guy says that the girl belongs to him now, but Noah steps up to point out that the guy broke the rules. Noah points at a needle sticking out of the girl's leg and says the guy must have used some sort of numbing drug. He had someone else fire the needle at her, which means it was a 2-on-1 fight. The guy says that Noah is lying, but Noah finds the guy's accomplice in the crowd. The guy tries to deny it, but several people in the crowd point out that the two guys are friends. The guy tries to make Noah pay for exposing him, but he just gets wrecked. He tells Noah that he will pay for this, and he just runs for his life. The girl eventually wakes up, and she's told that Noah saved her. Noah explains what happened, and she calls the guy a coward. Noah agrees with her, but he also points out that she was being too careless. Noah wants to know why she was offering herself as a reward, so she reveals that she ran out of money. She came here for the night selection exam, but she didn't make the cut. She doesn't even have enough money to return home, so she's getting desperate. Noah says that it doesn't make any sense because he saw her skills earlier. She's an exceptional fighter, and there's no way that she would have failed the exam. The girl says that she didn't agree with the decision either, which is why she looked into it. That is when the 10th prince summoned her, and the truth was finally revealed. He said that he would be willing to let her progress, but she would have to do some unthinkable things. Noah tells her that she doesn't need to say any more because he knows all about his brother's reputation. The girl still wants to be a knight, so Noah tells her that she won't have to return home. He gives her 500 reen and says that it should be enough to live on until the next night selection exam. He tells Gigi to set up some living arrangements for her, so the girl wonders why Noah's doing all this. Noah simply explains that it's because he likes her. She wants recognition, not for her womanhood, but based on merit. Just then, the guy from earlier returns to get his revenge. Noah tells the girl to stay back, and he notices that Luthier would like to do the honors. Noah links Luthier with his armor ring, and this creates a pair of fire gloves for Noah to use. The thugs are stunned because Noah's fists are on fire, and they have never seen anything like this before. They foolishly try to attack our hero, but Noah demonstrates his incredible fighting ability. One guy tries to use his poison on Noah, but Noah takes him out. Noah finishes the fight by lighting the guy's face on fire, and the girl is amazed because he didn't waste a single movement. The thugs are led by one of the knights of the 10th prince, and Noah realizes what's really going on. The knight begs for forgiveness, and Noah says that he knows that he was paid under the table to do this. The knight apologizes to the 13th prince, and this makes the girl realize who Noah really is. Noah says that the knight didn't attack him, so he will let him go. In return, he must take care of the punishment for the thugs. After they're taken away, a strange man compliments Noah on his fighting ability. Noah wonders who this guy is, and he's shocked when he sees that the guy has the golden gourd. Noah just recently learned about this item and its owner, so it leaves him in shock. He immediately bows down to the guy and says that it's an honor to meet the Imperial Highness, known as the Lightning Prince. His name is Indra, and he's widely known for being a great warrior. His empire was in chaos when he first took the throne because he was so young. However, he proved capable enough to take control of it all. He retired only 5 years later, and he earned the title of Lightning for his role in ushering in the Emperor's new administration. Noah knows that he's a great man, so he can only wonder why he suddenly showed up in the capital. Indra reveals that he has come to evaluate Noah. The Emperor chose Noah because he trusts him, so there's really no need for him to verify anything. However, the arranged marriage does affect the life of his granddaughter, so he has to do some research. Noah wonders what Indra will do if he doesn't measure up to his standards, so Indra explains that he simply won't let him marry his granddaughter. Noah points out that it's an imperial order, but Indra doesn't care. If it were any other order, he would obey it without hesitating, but this involves his precious granddaughter. This makes it personal, and he says that he's the Emperor's uncle. If the Emperor is wrong about Noah, then he will just smack him on the top of his head. Noah wonders if he passed, but Indra explains that he's just now about to find out the answer. Just then, Noah begins to feel like he's being crushed. It's the same sort of thing he makes the Leviathan do to others, but this time it's happening to him. Noah surprises Indra by pushing back with his own power, and he gets ready for the next step. He's about to push even further, but he decides against it. Indra's potentially his future grandfather-in-law, so he doesn't want to injure him in public. Instead, Noah decides to control his power in a way that he neither wins or loses. Indra has a good laugh as he declares defeat. Noah thought it was a draw, but Indra knows exactly what happened. Noah read his technique perfectly, and he made it a draw by choice. Indra says that he approves of Noah, so he tells him to take good care of his granddaughter. He's in a good mood, so he tells the waiter to bring booze for everyone. Indra decides to give Noah a ring as a gift, but this is no ordinary ring. It has a demonic voice, and it tells Noah to show him his strength. Noah finds himself in an open field where he's attacked by a strange creature. Noah tells the Leviathan to send it flying, and his attack eliminates the armored beast. Noah has successfully demonstrated his power, so he sees that his light stat has gone up to F+C. The demonic voice announces that its name is Behemoth, and it surrenders itself to Noah. Indra explains that the Behemoth is very powerful, and its power pairs with his. Noah then shocks everyone, as he's already learned how to use it. He uses the ring, and shows that it's able to transform anything into gold. Indra's in disbelief, because he couldn't win the Behemoth over, but Noah did it in a heartbeat. The ring only told Indra its name, and he could never use its powers. Noah is even able to bring out its true form, and Indra's even more impressed. Noah explains that he can learn powers and abilities by making his weapons battle. Indra has no clue what that means, so Noah decides that it would just be easier to show him. Noah brings out Luthier, the Ring of Flame, and the Leviathan, the magic sword of water. Then he brings out Huwawa, the painting of wind, and Behemoth, the ring of earth. It's been 1,000 years since they were all assembled, and legend says that Noah is about to experience a miracle. As Noah floats, he thinks about how he feels like his soul just got flung somewhere really far away. His 4 weapons appear before him, and they discuss how it's been 1,000 years since they were last assembled. The person that assembled them last time was level 255. He tamed all 4 of them and returned their powers to them. Noah has never heard these voices they're using, but somehow he knows them. They discuss how the day will soon come when they regain their full powers. Noah returns to the real world, and he wonders if he was just hearing things. Everyone watching is amazed because they just heard a voice from the heavens. It was God's voice, which means that the heavens have placed their hopes in the 13th prince. Indra heard it as well, and he says that Noah is very impressive. It's time for celebration, so Noah tells Gigi to give everyone here 10 reen. When something good happens to a noble, it's their duty to share it with everyone, rather than keeping it all to themselves. The girl named Cheryl thinks about how third-rate nobles disagree with this idea. Second-rate nobles only go along with it out of sheer pride. However, first-rate nobles just do it naturally because it's part of their nature. Noah's clearly a first-rate noble, and he's surprised when Cheryl says that she doesn't want the help he offered earlier. The reason she's refusing the money is because she would like to become his knight. To do that, she knows that she must advance on her own merit and become worthy of living in his service. Noah surprises her back by rejecting what she said. He explains that only second-rate knights accept help out of sheer pride. He points out that Cheryl wants to be a first-rate knight, so she should humbly accept the help. In return, she just has to work twice as hard for her master. Cheryl understands, so she promises to do her best. Indra's amazed by Noah because it only took one spoken line to help her understand. The Emperor arrives out of nowhere, and everyone kneels down to him. Just then, Noah releases some of Luthier's power. He wants it to be more menacing, so he adds a Leviathan's power on top of it. Noah controls his power carefully, and he only wants to use enough to inspire awe and respect. He's also using it to detect if anyone in the crowd has bad intentions towards the Emperor. After a moment of this, Noah determines that there's no treachery among them. Afterwards, Indra says that Noah is very impressive, and he assumes that Noah must be the #1 prince. The Emperor already knows how incredible Noah is, which is why he gave him the title of Wise. Noah's greatness is also bolstered by the fact that he will be undergoing his first campaign all alone. The crowd is shocked to hear this because the princes normally take a huge army with them. They all admired Noah before, but the fact that he's going on a solo campaign just raises his status even more. Noah, however, couldn't care less about all this praise. He notices that everyone's attention is on him, and he thinks about how this would be the perfect time to get the Emperor somewhere safe. Just then, Noah realizes what the Emperor just did. Noah intimidated the crowd to protect the Emperor, but it ruined the mood. The Emperor didn't want that, so he made everyone happy again by bringing up Noah's solo campaign. Just like always, the Emperor was one step ahead, and he's pleased to see that Noah caught on. The Emperor tells Indra that they must speak, and they head for the castle. On the way, the Emperor prepares to reveal something. He doesn't want anyone else to hear, so he turns to Noah. Without saying a word, Noah already knows what he needs to do. He uses Luthier's pillar of fire, and he distracts everyone. The Emperor then reveals that he's going to disinherit the Crown Prince. He was hoping that things would work out, but now he has no choice but to deem the current Crown Prince unfit for the job. The reason for this was the issue with Gilbert. Noah instantly realizes that this isn't really about how Gilbert attempted to poison the Emperor and the Crown Prince. Instead, it has to do with the first Prince Albert's decision to execute Gilbert. Noah calmly gave the option to imprison Gilbert for the rest of his life, but Albert rashly chose to execute him. Indra agrees with how the Emperor feels because things could get dangerous if Albert becomes Emperor. If he took over all the power, there would most likely be a major purge. The Emperor knows this as well, and he's sure that Henry, Oscar, and Noah would be the first ones eliminated by Albert. The Emperor can't allow someone like this to succeed him, so Indra wonders who will be the next Crown Prince. The Emperor says that he hasn't decided, but Indra knows better. He's very frank with the Emperor, and Noah can tell that this is why the Emperor came to him for advice. The Emperor admits that he's already chosen, but he hasn't said anything yet because it would only cause more feuding. Noah asks for permission to speak, so the Emperor allows it. Noah says that the Emperor could only announce that he's prepared his will and the name of his heir is written inside it. Indra doesn't think it would work because anyone can forge a will. Noah thought of this already and says that is why the Emperor would hide his will inside his body. Even the Emperor is stunned by this idea, and Noah gives an example. Noah says that he could hide his will in a false tooth with writing engraved in it. No one would ever be able to change the writing, and the Emperor says it's an incredible idea. At the castle, the Emperor tells everyone else to leave the room so they can speak freely. One guy is left inside because he is a liaison. Indra doesn't trust him, but another guard explains that it's his job to be present during these occasions. He's simply here to carry messages, but there's nothing to worry about because he cannot hear, speak, or read. After the other guard leaves, the Emperor reveals that he's decided to use Noah's great idea. Noah has another suggestion and says that the command of their full military should be returned to the Emperor. This includes Henry's post as Minister Prince of Military Affairs and Noah's post as Governor General of the 1st Imperial Guard. Indra agrees with this because it's too much power. If one of them disagreed with the Emperor's decision, they could use the power to remove all others and install themselves as Emperor. Indra is impressed by Noah's deduction skills, and the Emperor points out that he will make a great husband to Indra's granddaughter. The Emperor gives Noah a letter, formally removing him of his post. He writes another for Henry and gives it to the liaison. Indra then wonders how the Emperor will handle the Crown Prince's disinheritance. This is a tough decision for the Emperor, so Noah has something to say about this as well. He points out that this is all the Emperor's decision, and no one else should meddle in it. However, unlike Gilbert, Albert has not committed a specific offense. For that reason, it would be best to at least let him remain a prince. The Emperor agrees, and he decides on what he will say publicly. He will say that Albert has not committed treason, but he's not capable enough to be entrusted with the Empire. He will be stripped of his role as Crown Prince, but retain the title of Prince. The Emperor then reveals that Albert will never be able to regain his right to the throne. Indra says that he should also make this very clear, so Noah has an idea. He says that he should give Albert a title to make it more obvious. He suggests calling him the Ended Prince, implying that he can never advance beyond Prince. The Emperor thanks Noah for all his advice, and he begins to write his formal statement. His writing is riddled with errors, and Indra wonders what's wrong with him. The Emperor explains that he's taken away his son's future, so it's hard for him to bear. Indra says that he should write it over and over again until he can do it without any errors, but Noah has a different suggestion. He thinks that the Emperor should just leave it the way it is. This letter will remain on record forever, so the Emperor's feelings will be preserved in a way that Albert can see them. This could give Albert some comfort because it would show that the Emperor cared about him even while making this decision. It would help Albert accept the situation, and it would allow him to push on as prince for the sake of the Empire. This advice is Noah's most incredible yet because he was able to see the situation from everyone's perspective. It's advice far beyond his years, so the Emperor thanks Noah again. The liaison is given the letter, but Noah rushes to stop him before he leaves the room. Noah noticed that he visibly reacted after looking at the message. Then he hesitated because he read what it said. The guy tries to run, but Noah easily stops him. Cruz is called into the room and told that this guy can read. Cruz apologizes for his negligence, and the Emperor wonders how they should punish the liaison. Noah explains that he's to be executed immediately. He lied about being unable to read so he could assume a key role in the Empire. Indra thinks they should question him first, and Noah agrees that they might be able to find out who was behind this. Deep down though, Noah fears that it might be one of his brothers. If this is the case, then one of them will also have to be eliminated. Just then the Emperor says that they will leave the decision for later. As for Cruz, his only crime was a lack of oversight. As punishment, Noah says that he should get reduced pay for 6 months. Cruz is grateful for the light punishment, and he promises to take care of the rest. Afterwards, Noisel says that the liaison's punishment was carried out. As for Noah, Noisel says that he's so remarkable that he wonders if he can read minds. Just then, the Emperor wonders if Noisel has heard the name Leviathan before. Noisel explains that Leviathan was one of the 4 sages who lent their powers to the Emperor during the Silver Age. The Emperor only brought it up because Leviathan seems to now be lending his power to Noah. Noah has the potential to surpass the Silver Age, so the Emperor plans to watch how he grows from here. The next day, Noah leaves the castle, so Shirley wonders what he will do next. Noah points out that she never brings up conversations like this, but she says that she couldn't help it because he looked concerned. She fears that something's about to happen, and Noah says that she isn't wrong. He tells her to be at ease though, because their lives will not be in danger. Noah reveals that they're headed to the Crown Prince's mansion. Albert greets our hero and says that his visit is unexpected. Noah's at the peak of his popularity, so Albert wonders what he's doing here. Noah requests an audience with the Crown Prince, but Albert tells him that he doesn't need to be so formal. He tells Noah to relax because it's just a talk between brothers. Noah tells Shirley to wait outside, and he thinks about how this is a show of trust to his brother. Albert gives Noah the choice on where to speak, so Noah chooses the garden. Albert's garden is kept by a renowned gardener, and Albert has never shown it to him before. The garden is absolutely beautiful, and Noah says that one of the trees is the most magnificent he's ever seen. Albert says that it was a gift, and it's worth 50,000 reen. Noah's then shocked when Albert says that he will have it sent to Noah's mansion. Noah was able to tell how special it was, so Albert says that it would be happier with someone who appreciates it. Noah accepts the gift, and Albert points out that this is the second time he has given something to Noah. The other item was the Leviathan, but Albert explains that he only gave it to him as a little joke. He wasn't expecting anything to come of it, but Noah revealed its true power. This taught Albert that great power only belongs in the hands of the right people. It's in this moment that Noah reveals what he wants to discuss. He reminds Albert that every summer, the Emperor heads north to escape the heat. The only difference this year is that he intends to take Albert with him. Albert is clearly caught off guard, and we learn why this seems to have bothered him. In previous years, Albert was left behind to rule the Empire whenever the Emperor left for the summer. This allowed Albert to gain experience, and it acted as a rehearsal for his future reign as Emperor. Noah explains that the Emperor wants to give Albert a thorough education on the essence of ruling. Noah says that he doesn't know all the details, but he assumes that the Emperor wants to teach Albert many things. Noah really doesn't know why he's taking Albert, but deep down he assumes that he's taking him because keeping Albert close means there's one less thing for him to worry about. Albert is clearly suspicious of all of this, but he doesn't show it. He simply thanks Noah for delivering the message, and he leaves. That night, Noah goes to watch Alichi's performance. Something clearly bothers her as she looks at Noah's food, but she says it's nothing. After the show, Noah's visited by a woman named Olivia Coyle. Olivia reveals that she has information, and it has to do with Albert. She reveals that the Crown Prince plans to lead a coup in a few hours. We then see that Albert has formed an army as he prepares to remove the Emperor from the throne. Noah demands to know how she knows this information, so Olivia explains who she is. She is the daughter of a man named Coyle, who is a member of Gilbert's household. She was born into the household, so she swore loyalty to Gilbert. Olivia explains that she appreciated how Noah tried to spare Gilbert's life. However, Albert was the one who chose to end Gilbert's life instead. That is why Olivia swore revenge and approached Albert herself. That is when she learned about Albert's plan. Albert knew what was going to happen to him after the Emperor announced his disinheritance. That is why he decided that he would mobilize soldiers and take control of the palace before that happened. This is terrible news, and Olivia pleads for Noah to do something. She offers everything he has and says that she will do anything for Noah as long as he ends Albert's life. Noah accepts, and he asks what she did at Gilbert's house. Olivia explains that she was an apprentice butler, learning how to be a servant under her father. Noah tells her that she can do the same here, and she will be paid the same amount. That is his only request, so Olivia wonders why he's treating her so well. Noah explains that even though she lost her master, she never stopped being loyal to him. Even after his passing, she swore revenge and dedicated her life to getting it. That's the kind of loyalty Noah values, and he's merely acknowledging it. Olivia is very grateful, and she pledges her loyalty to Noah. There is no doubt in Noah's mind that she's serious, because his stats get a boost from her joining his ranks. Strangely, the stat that gets increased is the darkness stat. Noah prepares to leave, so Zoe wonders if he will need a carriage. Noah declines and reveals that he will be going alone. Gigi points out that it's too late to be going out alone, but Zoe can tell that something is going on. She silences Gigi, and she promises to wait for Noah's return. As Noah leaves, he thinks about how there's only one force Albert could lead in a time like this. This force is stationed at the Ministry of Military Affairs, and they're a force of 1,000 men. Since they're permanently stationed, they've been trained to obey the orders of the superior officer in command without hesitation. Albert speaks to them, and he gives a speech. He explains that water that stays still for too long can become rotten. It eventually stagnates and becomes a home for all manner of vermin. He says that the Emperor has allowed the same thing to happen to their nation. The Emperor forgot how to keep advancing, and now the nation is led by the disloyal and the treacherous. They are trying to rot this nation from the inside, but Albert says that he won't let them. He promises to return the empire they love to the hands in which it was meant to be. His army is incredibly inspired, and they vow to follow him into battle. Just then Noah arrives, and he pleads for Albert not to do anything senseless. He explains that if Albert takes this step, it will only bring about his ruin. Albert doesn't heed the warning because he refuses to die without trying to do something. Noah's disheartened to hear him speak this way because Albert hasn't read what the Emperor wrote about his disinheritance. Noah reveals that the Emperor felt great agony when he was writing it. No matter what Albert may have done, the Emperor didn't disclose it publicly. The Emperor wants Albert to live, and he agonized over a way to allow him to keep his life. Albert only becomes more upset as he cannot be content with just living the rest of his life as a simple prince. He waited 30 years, believing that he would one day rule this empire. He waited patiently, so having it taken away is the greatest insult. Albert then says that the Emperor seems to value his own life above all in his old age. If he insists on clinging on to the throne, Albert has no choice but to remove him with military might. Noah thinks about how the status of prince is most noble to common folk. Anyone would love to be a prince, and Noah even appreciates it himself. Princes can do what they think is best, and they have the power to act in the interest of the people. However, Albert was born as the crown prince. Being reduced to the status of prince is the same as death for him. Albert wonders if Noah is still insisting on stopping him, and of course Noah says that he is. Albert expected no less of his brother, so he tells his army to apprehend Noah because he's a traitor. The soldiers attack him, and Noah thinks about how there are 1,000 of them. They still follow orders faithfully, even when ordered to attack a prince. As Noah fights back, he can tell that they're all very well trained. However, to Noah, this is just another reason why he can't let them get involved. Noah's powers are on a whole nother level now that he has 4 legendary weapons. He uses each of their unique powers, and he manages to defend himself. There are far too many soldiers though, and Noah's getting exhausted. Just then a voice tells Noah to summon the power he desires by its true name. Noah summons the one named Bahamut, and the giant dragon of fire appears above him. The dragon lets out a loud roar, and the soldiers can only wonder what this thing even is. The dragon uses its fire breath, and it overwhelms the entire army with its flames. Noah declares that this is enough, as he doesn't want to end any of their lives. He calls the dragon back, and Albert is left in shock. Noah declares that it's over, and Albert wonders if he's going to end his life. Noah says that he won't, because the Emperor would be sad if one of his sons eliminated another. Instead, Noah shocks Albert by giving him a vial of poison. Noah will not take Albert's life himself, but he will not stop Albert from taking his own life. Albert is insulted by this, and of course he refuses. Noah, however, explains why this is the only option. If Noah ends Albert's life, then Albert's entire family and his subordinates will be executed as traitors. However, if Albert takes his own life, then it will change the entire story. It will seem like Albert tried to lead a coup, but changed his mind at the very last moment. This will change everything, and everyone close to him will be spared. Noah points out that Albert can't erase what he's done, but he can still spare the lives of the people he cares about. None of this matters to Albert, so he tells two of his closest soldiers to apprehend Noah. The soldiers move in, and Noah prepares for another fight. Albert is ready to continue with his plan, but he's shocked when his soldiers capture him instead. They explain that they can no longer follow Albert's orders. Even in this situation, Noah showed more consideration to Albert's family and subordinates. Albert, on the other hand, didn't care at all, which is why they're turning against him. Albert tells him not to fall for Noah's tricks, but this isn't the first time that Albert showed how selfish he is. The soldiers remind him that he sacrificed 120 people when he lifted the seal on the Leviathan. Noah's horrified to hear this, and he remembers the people screaming in agony when he first took hold of the weapon. The soldiers have never forgotten this, as many of their loved ones were sacrificed. One's father was sacrificed, and the other lost his two brothers. Albert reminds them that he's the crown prince, and they have to follow his orders no matter what. The soldiers refuse to listen to him any longer, and they silence him. They tell Noah that Albert has realized the wrong he has done, and he's ready to take his own life. Noah accepts this, and he calls on Olivia to do the honors. Olivia thanks her new master, and Albert is horrified by what's about to happen. He tries to remind Olivia that she's indebted to him for taking her in, but it's no use. The soldiers force his mouth open, and Olivia pours the poison. Albert is forced to consume it, and he curses them all. He thinks about how he waited 30 years to rule the empire, and his life comes to an end. Noah says goodbye to his brother, and the soldiers bow down to Noah. They inform Noah that Prince Albert has tragically taken his own life. His treacherous ambitions led him to take command of their army, but he eventually regretted the crime that he was committing. Noah acknowledges this version of the story and declares that under imperial law, the informants and retainers will be rewarded. The other members of the household will be spared, and Albert's son will succeed Albert. Noah's basic abilities get a huge boost, which means that these two soldiers must be really strong. Noah's impressed that Albert had people this strong in his command. Albert didn't appreciate them though, so Noah says that his coup was doomed to fail either way. Back in the Emperor's vault, the Emperor says that a certain item just reacted. This has never happened before, so the Emperor wonders if Noah's magic sword has begun to awaken. The Emperor seems to know everything just like always, so he wonders what happened. Noisehill explains that Noah received word of what was happening around the same time they did. Noah rushed to the scene and found that Albert took his own life. The Emperor tells Noisehill to leave him, and he thinks about how even in a time like this, Noah's remarkable. Now the two princes that tried to take the Emperor's life are gone from this world. As a result, the Mira's empire saw the beginning of a new era of peace like none before. 3 years later, the maids prepare for Noah's 15th birthday. Noah's more popular than ever, and his presents just keep flowing in. This celebration is also for Noah's relocation to Almeria to officially rule as its lord. His presents have already filled 2 entire rooms, and there's no signs of it slowing down. Zoe points out that it just shows how many people Noah saved and how many people want to be of use to him. Outside, we see the much taller Noah practicing his swing. He's interrupted by his fiancée named Audrey, who wonders what he wants to do for breakfast. Noah wants to have it here, so Audrey tells Zoe to make the preparations. Audrey's 15th birthday is also near, which means that she will lose her surname. She has been looking forward to this for a long time because it means that she will officially become Noah's wife. As for Indra, he thinks about how the Emperor is still deciding who will be the next in line. His decision has come down to one of his top 3 sons. The 8th Prince Oscar, the 4th Prince Henry, but the one he's really hoping for is Prince Noah. Indra is sure which it will be, and he puts all his money on it being Noah. Noah makes his leave, and he says goodbye to his wife. Thanks for watching my recap of the first season of this anime. Make sure to like the video.